keep it down there. It turns
I
itself
want a
off.
fucking cool Lego set.
Testing.
Check, check.
I think we're good. I think we made it. We're in.
Good.
It's like the Matrix I'm in.
Whoa.
I love that, like, the week, I don't know if you remember this, the week that, like, we thought, we're like, oh, we can do the Matrix because they made a fourth one. You know, like, it was going to be definitive ending, and then they made another one that didn't stick the landing. We're like, oh, now we can
And then they were
talk
like,
about
oh,
it.
there's more Matrix stuff on the way.
Yeah. And that happened, like, a week later, and I was like, fuck. Guess we can't do the Matrix.
No, we cannot.
We'll probably do the Matrix after the next one bombs.
Which I think I don't think the Matrix series has the staying power.
I think if it, like,
I think people just lost interest in it, honestly.
I don't think that last one was very good, first of all. I think if they, like, transitioned and they weren't like, hey, here's, like, you know when, like, Star Wars was like these saga movies and was like, hey, this is the big story happening with all the biggest characters in the universe, you know, overthrowing the government and blah blah blah. And it was like, yeah, but what if we did stories about just this one motherfucker just like running around?
Yeah,
just
and
in
that's
the-
interesting.
You know, like this real small scale story, and then
Mhm.
like that kind of
That's kind of what Star Wars is right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of reinvigorated Star Wars on the TV side.
Yeah.
And now like the TV side's like, oh, let's do a bunch of like really interesting, gritty, small stories.
Here's
like
the thing:
if
the
Matrix-
books were doing that for decades.
Right. If the Matrix did that, and like we get stories like,
We don't need to keep learning about the one.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
let's leave the one alone for a while. Like, let's understand. Like, what if we made stories within the Matrix before the one was awoken? You know?
What about an Agent Smith movie? Oh God, we're getting
Yeah.
to Sony territory.
Are we live? There's nobody here.
We had one viewer for a second.
Oh, okay. Says we're live. Just want to make sure.
Does anybody even care about us anymore?
Favorites real quick. I have a lot of favorites.
Whoa, I only have like one GIF favorited.
Oh, this is memes. What am I doing?
Oh no, I mean technically you posted a meme.
Yeah, but I wanted to put it in announcements like, where is everybody? I thought they'd understand.
Wow, now you look like an idiot.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway. Well. All right. Well, I guess we can get started. I have.
We have news, right?
Yeah. I have two stories. It's a short one since we did one earlier this week. Nope, I already did that. Let's open up Logan. So we're ready.
Whoa.
Bless you. All right, I guess we'll just get started.
Yeah.
That's what we get for streaming so late.
We're not late enough. It is Friday.
Things already started. Welcome to news from the Phantom Zone, where we bring you a little bit of what happened in this last week in the movie world, comic books. You get it.
Geek World.
Mm.
All
Anyway,
of those apply.
let's see. It is 10:30 p.m. on a Friday night. We are
Ready to go.
we are past my personal bedtime.
Whoa. On Friday night?
No, I mean no, but like probably by like 11:30. I'm like, all right, let's go to bed. I wake up early.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, well, we did one of these earlier this week, so this is gonna be a short one. We got a couple of news stories to catch up on, get warmed up for the regular show when we talk about Logan. So let's get going. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Blue Beetle is returning as an animated series as a sequel to the 2023 film.
Hopefully that's not the only thing they do with Blue Beetle.
No, and yeah. But I mean, the thing is like, James Gunn already announced the DCU slate. Like he already said, like, hey, all these are the things that are coming out or whatever. And so, I mean, let's just as a reminder, like Blue Beetle was originally part of the DCEU, but because there was not enough connective tissue and like,
He was like, yeah, we can bring that in.
yeah, and like the deal had already happened, and James Gunn's like getting ready for his new universe. He's like, oh, this actually is pretty good. We could just say that this is part of the new universe.
Yeah.
So it's got one foot in each universe basically. and so like, yeah, we knew we'd see more of Blue Beetle, but you're right, like a second movie would be great. But as of now, like an animated series would be fine too, I think.
Is anybody returning to voice?
Apparently. So per Deadline, Warner Brothers Animation and DC Studios are developing an animated Blue Beetle series. Miguel Puga, who had been working on the project since early this year, will serve as showrunner and director. Blah, blah, blah. Angel Manuel Soto, who directed the 2023 Blue Beetle movie, Puerto Rican dude, by the way, will executive produce a series with Gareth Dunneth Aloced and John Ricard. Galen, blah, blah, blah. The voice cast of Blue Beetle animated series has not yet been officially announced. However, according to Deadline, multiple people have been approached, and DC has received a positive response regarding returns.
Okay.
So, I mean, like, if you're like Xolo Maridueña, right, the star of Blue Beetle, who's been in, like,
His big thing's Cobra
Cobra
Kai.
Kai and this, like, you don't say no to him. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like
Yeah.
he's committed. We're not talking about RDJ here.
Right. He's not at that level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have no doubt that they'll all go back.
I know
and
James Gunn had said that even the animated shows and stuff are canon to that new universe.
he wants it all to be canon. He wants actors to, if they're gonna be in one thing, they'd be in the other thing.
Yeah.
So he wants to he's sort of following that Marvel mold, but in hindsight, you know.
Yeah, and it seems like he's doing a little extra because, like, oh, even our animated stuff's canon to our universe.
Yeah, like Marvel didn't do that until like sort of What If.
Kind of.
Yeah. I mean, What If.
None of that's really come to any fruition yet.
No,
but
it was always like a one-way thing,
yeah.
you know. Like What If is, I mean, I don't need to tell you, it's playing with like the MCU or whatever.
Yeah.
But I like this. I am down for something sooner rather than later, right? And
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll see him in live action again. He'll do some team up. He'll do some cameo. I don't know.
Yeah, because I did like that movie.
James Gunn will put him in. He'll get thrown into an episode of Peacemaker season 2 or something. Which should be fun, actually.
Yeah, actually.
I think they'd all get along in a weird way. That movie was a year ago. Wow, feels like longer.
Yeah, it was just last year.
Last August, yeah. Just less
Not
than
even a year ago.
It's
Yeah.
11 months ago. Anyway, or 10 months ago. Wow.
Whoa.
Whoa. Ooh,
The
loud.
hell?
Just a
Need some WD-40 for that?
Yeah. The Blade director Jan Damage, I think is how you say his name. I don't
It's
think
probably not Damage.
It's not Damage. Leaves Blade. This is the second director.
This
to
movie
leave
is
this movie.
cursed.
I just want to remind you, this movie was announced in 2019.
Right. And
It's been 5
it's
years.
like, yeah, we had the pandemic. We had the
Still.
strike, but that's not enough to
This
delay
movie.
this as much as it's been
No.
delayed.
This
Yeah.
movie's on square one. Like
Yeah.
it's like back to the drawing board, basically.
Yeah. So what's going on?
So I mean, they had rewrites. They had a director leave. Apparently, like that first treatment sucked.
Apparently Blade was barely in it.
Mahershala Ali didn't like it. He was barely in it. Yeah, it was a mess. So they did the right thing, right? And then this was like news. I think we talked about this
I think we did. Yeah.
on maybe not on,
That was
on
like
news, but it was a year ago.
Yeah.
Um,
And now a year later, like, oh, another director gone.
yeah.
Is it creative differences, or is it because nothing's getting off the ground?
I don't know. I didn't see.
Because
The story that I got is a different story.
oh,
This came today, which is that
well, apparently, I think his attorney might be trying to get him out of the contract. Yeah.
so this is his attorney talking. Blade star Mahershala Ali's representation called the Marvel movie's shooting delays the craziest thing she's seen in her career. The Hollywood Reporter spoke to lawyer Shelby Weiser for a larger piece about representing massive stars like Ali. She says that she can't believe that they haven't begun filming Blade yet. That deal was in 2019, and they still haven't shot it, which is pretty much the craziest thing in my professional experience.
Yeah, it's been half a decade.
I mean, honestly, they just got ahead of themselves, and I get like, that's when they were announcing things like left and right, and then yeah, the pandemic happened. So it's like, yeah, I'll cut Marvel a little bit of slack. I'll also cut Marvel slack for not releasing garbage.
Yeah.
If they see that it's going bad, like step on the brakes, figure it out, make it better, and don't just release something that you know is bad.
But on the other hand, it's like, damn, you're taking a long time.
Yeah.
Is it that hard to write a Blade movie?
I guess.
It's. I mean, it's been half a decade. Still hasn't even begun filming. Like that, it's in development hell right now.
It's starting to be, yeah. This is also, I think Ant-Man is still kind of the longest running project for Marvel.
Well, yeah, that predates even the MCU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this doesn't hold a candle to that yet, and that did pretty fine.
It did it did fine.
That did better than expected.
Yeah.
And I quite like those movies. I need to rewatch the third one. In a week where Blade has a second director step away from the project. There's some script tweaking going on at Marvel, courtesy of veteran script doctor Eric Pearson. Michael Starberry penned the previous attempt at Blade, and the movie has yet to be moved from its 2025 release date. Obviously, it's not going to hit that date.
There's no way in hell it's coming out next year.
Yeah. Ali remains attached to the project. However, the star is discussing Jurassic World 4 with Universal about a week ago as well. Keep your eyes trained on San Diego Comic-Con, as it's believed there will be an update during the presentation.
That's going to be next month.
So we'll see about that.
Jurassic World 4, really?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. I'm curious how much work he's declined because of Blade.
That's the thing. And it's
he's got to work.
Well, not only that, but like the movie keeps getting pushed back, so like his schedule keeps on getting moved, and so it's hard to like. I'm sure there's these giant gaps where
he could have done multiple movies,
right,
by now.
where he can't accept work because he's like, oh no, this is blocked off for Blade, and it's like Blade gets pushed back, so it's like that time that was blocked off is now open,
and it's like what you find something last minute, like
he's just not in anything.
That's shitty.
Yeah. So. Yeah, man, I remember like 5 years ago they pulled him out on like Hall H, and at the very end it was like the stinger.
At
put
the
the
end
hat on and everything. Yeah.
And then his voice was at the end of Eternals.
Oh yeah, that's true.
They already teased Blade. Now we might not get the Black Knight, and we might not get Blade. I think we'll get Blade. I don't know if Mahershala Ali is going to stay on though. If this keeps,
I like him a lot.
Going the way it's going.
But again, I hope that all this shit aside, it's because they're making the movie. They're trying not to release just garbage.
I kind of want it to tie into like Moon Knight.
That'd be nice.
Give us the Midnight Suns.
Midnight Suns, yeah. That's what they should do. That'd be fun.
They'll be like the supernatural Avengers.
Yeah.
You can even get Doctor Strange involved if you want.
Yeah, you can be the leader or whatever. Yeah. Anyway. That's it for the news for the week. I don't know.
For the week.
Yeah, I'm trying to do two things at once. Thank you guys for watching or listening and supporting us on Patreon. So yeah, we did a short one because we did one earlier this week that went up on Patreon yesterday.
Okay.
So just lots to do, lots to watch.
Yeah.
And then and by the way, one episode of Where's Mephisto on Acolyte's coming soon. Before I get this Logan episode done that we're about to record now. So. All right, guys. We'll see you in the future.
Bye.
Okay, not really. We're just gonna jump into Logan.
Hell yeah.
Alrighty.
Pull up my notes.
Why does Grant Ward have an article on Wikipedia?
Why does he?
Great.
He's got a whole article out there with his biography and everything.
And it's got his little minifigure.
Yep.
Oh, boy. Welcome to Films from the Phantom Zone, your podcast about failed and forgotten comic book movies, where we watch a forgotten superhero movie and decide, does this belong in the Phantom Zone to be forgotten for forever or out and about for everyone to rewatch and remember fondly? My name is Arnaldo. I'm your host, and I'm joined by
Birdo.
It is almost 11 p.m. It's a late night here.
That's okay.
Dangerous Nights crew, right here. Do you know that
you went out for wings one time?
You know what I learned about that skit?
What?
The band, that's Vampire Weekend. Who
plays a song?
That plays the song, the Dangerous Nights song.
That's funny.
Yeah. Apparently they had a concert and they brought Tim Robinson on stage, and I guess they're like close, or they're
I feel like Tim Robinson knows
together.
everybody.
Yeah, he's been in the industry like for a long time.
He's
but
involved
mostly
with the new Skate video game now too.
They're bringing back Skate.
They're bringing back Skate, and he was
What?
in the promo for it.
That's so fucking funny. I love Tim Robinson so much. Well, he was a writer for a long time. He was on SNL, like,
Yeah.
as a writer and filled in as like an extra for a few
Every once in a while.
or guest star, not or guest cast, not a guest host, but like he just was in a few skits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we're talking about Tim Robinson from I Think You Should Leave and a few other things. Check him out. Let's move on. Berto, what movie are we talking about today?
Logan.
It's available on Disney Plus, which is hilarious. I still won't get over that. The fact that like
I watched it on Disney Plus.
There's like super R-rated things on Disney Plus.
Well, thanks to Hulu, the entire almost the entire Saw collection is now on Disney Plus.
Is it really?
Yep.
That's so funny. Yeah, but this would have been Hulu aside. This was already
This
gonna be
was
on
this
Disney
was
Plus,
on Disney
yeah.
Plus regardless. Yeah.
There's boobs in this.
There are. I forgot about that.
And a lot of like decapitation.
It's very
And it's
violent.
It's
Yeah.
all on Disney Plus. I love the future, you guys. Anyway, we are getting ready to we're working our way through the Wolverine specific movies, right? We did X-Men Origins Wolverine. We also did The Wolverine, covering Logan, and we're going to work really hard to get through Deadpool and Deadpool 2
Yeah, we might have
before.
to try and do that quickly.
Dude, we have a month and a week. That movie's not anywhere like that. There's a lot of
I'm
promotion.
going to be gone for a week.
Yeah, okay, that's true. But there's a lot of promotion for Deadpool and Wolverine, and it's like
You think it's coming out like
you would think it's like, oh, it comes out tomorrow.
we already have our tickets.
Yeah, it doesn't come out for a month and like a week. Like it's still a ways away. Like,
No, but the
this
process takes a while, so
I
we
know.
got to at least record it fairly quickly.
I'm aware, but it's I like the hype. They're building hype. This is how you promote a movie. And I read some more today that they're expecting like a 200 million to 300 million opening weekend, which would be huge.
Especially like today,
Yeah, and it's a
where
rated R.
nobody's going to the movies.
And a rated R movie. It is expected to break the previous rated R box office numbers set by the first Deadpool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joker didn't beat Deadpool?
I guess not. I think Joker.
You would think it did
Well,
with how much people were talking about it.
They break it down in a lot of different categories. There's a lot of different records you can break. It's like a Guinness Book of World Records situation. And I think Joker holds one or two of those. I don't know. It's like first 12 hours or first like day or opening blah 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 or I don't know. Joker has some record, but I feel like the big one is for a rated R film is still held by Deadpool.
Okay.
Yeah. And so
It was previously held by Passion of the Christ?
probably actually.
Okay.
I remember that being a thing,
Yeah.
Which is so funny. That's a rated R. I mean, it's not funny. It's very serious.
It earned its R rating.
It quite did.
That might be one of the most grotesque movies I've ever seen. Like, I can't even describe it.
Yeah, it's
Which
tonal
kudos to the special effects.
tonal
or
whiplash
VFX
and also
people.
regular whiplash.
Yeah.
Let's move on. We're not talking about Jesus.
Some people watch it every Easter.
That's crazy to me. I'm one and done. I saw it. I'm like, I get it.
I think I've seen it twice. I'm like, I don't need to watch that again.
I also don't feel like it's that genuine. Like I feel, you know what I mean? It's like some things, like if you truly believe like this is like a holy event, like do you really need to like capitalize
monetize
on it?
it?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
monetize it to the extreme. And it's like they're gonna make a sequel, and now I'm like,
It
all right,
was
calm
Mel
down.
Gibson. Come on.
I know, but now if you make a sequel to Passion of the Christ, and now I'm like, all right, fucking Marvel, like, what do you think you're doing? It's gonna be a post-credit scene, and like Jesus like breaks out of the cave.
Actually, that'd be a good post-credit scene.
But
But then what do you watch the next movie? Just him like, I'm back, guys. Like, now it's a sitcom.
now it's just like the Gospels. Oh boy. Anyway, that's what we've done. Let's get going. By the way, all these episodes are streamed on Twitch. We're live on Twitch right now. If you guys are listening to the show and you wish you could be a part of it, jump on Twitch. Not right now, but when we stream some evenings.
Unless we're streaming right now
What?
while they're listening.
Oh, to another episode. True.
Yes, yeah.
There-
You got to think
there-
about the future.
Right. There's a very small chance that you should go on Twitch right now, and maybe we happen to be live.
at the very least follow us and see when we're live.
Yeah, you're getting a notification. You can join our Discord. That's linked below. And you can be a part of the show by contributing to discussions and getting a shout out on Twitch. And then the last thing I wanted to say, t-shirts. I forgot we have t-shirts. Link below.
Oh, yeah. We do have t-shirts.
Moving on. Let's get started. Background on Logan. One thing before we get started on like individual character and comic book run backgrounds.
Right.
We forgot to mention last episode.
Mm.
It's like several weeks ago. That the Wolverine was first directed by a completely different director. It wasn't James Mangold who did this movie, Logan.
Right.
It was
that guy. Yeah.
Fuck.
This is your fact, not mine.
I know. But I'm very bad with names. Very, very bad. Oh shit, this one's in Spanish. God damn it.
That's your fault.
Fuck off. The Wolverine.
What's Wolverine in Spanish?
I don't know. I clicked away.
El Wolverine. I think Wolverine's a different word.
All right, let's go to pre-development.
Cuckoo.
Darren Aronofsky.
Why does Aronofsky sound familiar?
He did Requiem for a Dream.
Oh,
he did,
that's a pretty good movie.
Black Swan. He did The Wrestler.
He's got some
he's an auteur.
heavy hitters under his belt. Yeah,
he is very good. And then he kind of like hit like a downward world spiral after he did Noah.
People didn't like that.
No,
that's the one with Russell Crowe and Emma Watson, right?
I thought it was good, but it was very weird.
Wasn't there rock monsters?
There are several rock monsters.
Are they supposed to be like golems?
Is that something from the Bible?
I think it's from
it is
Jewish
based on
Bible.
something from the Old Testament.
Yeah,
same thing.
Yeah,
yeah,
that is the same thing actually.
Oh! He also did. We're gonna talk about this in a second. He did The Fountain, which is like a really trippy movie starring Hugh Jackman. So
cool.
Hugh Jackman, we're doing on Keep or Cancel finally.
Thank God.
We've seen like 5 movies with him in it, and we keep on.
And
like,
we still have another movie
1, 2, 3,
later
4,
to cover.
This is our 6th movie with Hugh Jackman in it.
Should we have?
And we have one more.
I think we have 2 more. He does appear in First Class for a second.
It's a cameo. But yeah, and then The Wrestler, Black Swan, Noah. He did Mother and The Whale. I guess those movies did really well.
Weren't people kind of iffy on Mother?
Yeah.
Or am I thinking of?
That's the one with
That's the one with Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence, Javier Bardem.
I think people were pretty iffy on that one. I haven't seen it.
And The Whale.
The Whale. People loved.
The Whale did very well.
Why didn't he do this movie?
So I remember this happening. I remember being very excited because I was a little film bro, and I was very excited, and I loved Aronofsky.
And you're like, he's gonna put together such a beautiful masterpiece.
Yeah,
I think he would have, honestly.
He would have done great. Yeah, and obviously like
James Mangold killed it, but
did fantastic. Yeah, but let me go back here.
I'm sure everybody still heard that too.
Yep. Yeah, so Hugh Jackman had mentioned that Mangold was going to direct, and he said, "This hopefully for me is going to be out of the box. It's going to be the best one, I hope." Well, I would say that, but I really do feel that this is going to be very different. This is Wolverine. This is not Popeye. He's kind of dark, but this is a change of pace. He's saying nothing.
Yeah,
Chris McQuarrie, who wrote The Usual Suspects, also he went on to write and direct the later Mission Impossible movies,
which are
has
good,
written the script, so that'll give you a good clue. This is Back for the Wolverine. Yeah, they're very good. There's gonna be some meat on the bones. There will be some things you think.
Okay. I feel like he's just spinning his wheels.
He is spinning his wheels. Anyway, Aronofsky said that this was more of a one-off than a sequel to X-Men Origins.
Isn't there some debate as to whether this is in an alternate timeline or not?
I think some people have said that, but I think people are dumb.
Oh.
Because I don't think there's that much to contradict that this takes place in the regular X-Men timeline as the new timeline created by Days of Future Past.
It is in the new timeline created by or not in that timeline?
I see no reason why it can't be.
Oh, so that new timeline they created still ends up being fucked.
Right. Yeah. Like there's no happy
the
ending.
Fox universe sucks, man.
Yeah, it's dark in there.
Maybe Deadpool 3 will.
So in March
us
of
a definitive
2011, Aronofsky bowed out, saying, "As I talked more about the film with my collaborators at Fox, it became clear that the production of The Wolverine would keep me out of the country for almost a year. I was not comfortable being away from my family for that length of time. I am sad that I will not be able to see the project through. It is a terrific script, and I am very much looking forward to working with my friend Hugh Jackman again." So all good things.
Yeah, no, I mean, he declined for good reasons.
He didn't want to be in Japan for 2 years or whatever, and like
Yeah.
that's fair, I think.
Because that would have been a cool character piece.
Yeah, and
Which we ended up still getting.
no complaints.
Yeah.
But I think it might have been one of the more artistic. And again, Logan is that. But I think that would have been at the time the most artistic kind of comic book movie we had gotten.
I'm curious how much the script changed between then.
Me too.
Probably not too much.
Well, we talked about this because I feel like Aronofsky would have not accepted
The Silver Samurai.
the
final
Silver
battle.
Samurai and what's her fake, the reptile girl.
Yeah, I'm sure
What's her
the
name?
it's not Madam Hydra.
It is Madam Hydra.
It is, but it isn't.
Oh yeah, but they don't call her that. That's right.
Poison? No, that's
I
not
already
right at
forgot. I already forgot.
she's very forgettable.
Yeah.
But no, that would have been cool, and I'm sure it would have fallen more in line with what you were saying with like that final confrontation would have been with the father.
Yeah.
And maybe they would have put the Silver Samurai story merged into that a little bit.
Yeah, or maybe somewhere in the middle of the movie.
Yeah.
You know?
But
Kind of swap those characters.
yeah. But I mean, I still think,
It's a good movie.
yeah, honestly, I liked it a hell of a lot more than the first time I watched it.
For sure. Me too.
And that could be because it was the extended version.
Yeah, the rated R one.
Yeah.
And I like that they did that too. Because
Yeah.
it was very like creative led. Like it wasn't like an afterthought, like, oh, we're gonna like stitch in these scenes. Like
No,
he meant to make it that way for anyone who wanted to watch it.
It was basically the
yeah.
director's cut.
Yeah. Like a true director's cut.
Mm-hmm.
But so anyway, yeah, it's clear that for this one though, Mangold gets like full creative control.
Well, he almost feels like an auteur with this movie.
Like there's there's not one part of this movie that makes me go, oh yeah, an executive wanted that. Not one.
No, and
like this
everything
movie
in here
breaks all
feels
the
purposeful
it
too.
breaks all the rules too. Like it does not follow.
Oh, it's unlike any other
yeah.
superhero movie.
Let's not jump into analysis yet because we haven't even started talking about the movie. I kind of stopped talking about initial expectations, but I do want to talk about the trailer. Do you remember the trailer to this movie?
It's one of the best, specifically the teaser trailer.
Yeah.
With
The fucking music video.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It's one of the best teaser trailers I've seen for a movie. It's up there with like the Infinity War teaser trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would go ahead and say it's like one of my favorite trailers.
And these are around
for a movie
around the same time too, actually.
Was it?
Like 2017?
Yeah. So if you don't know, it's
I guess Infinity War is 2018.
The teaser trailer to this film, and please, like, if you're not driving, stop listening to us. Go to YouTube and watch it if you don't remember it.
It's with the
or even if you do, it's basically a music video set to Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash's rendition of Hurt.
Yeah.
Because I think that's originally a Nine Inch Nails song.
It is a Nine Inch Nails song.
But Johnny Cash kind of does it better.
So Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails says...
which, by the way, does a lot of
movie
composing too. Yeah,
movie scores with Atticus.
Yeah, Atticus Ross.
Yeah. So Trent Reznor said that once he heard Johnny Cash's cover of it, he said, "Yep, that song's his now." Like plain and simple. Like it's not my song.
He kicked
anymore.
my ass.
Yeah. And I'm inclined to agree.
And I do like the Nine Inch Nails version.
I like it, but then you hear Johnny Cash, and the thing is too is like it's Johnny Cash at the end of his career
when he's dying.
He's old, he's dying, and it matches the tone of this movie so fucking hard. Mm-hmm. It's so like it
works almost too well.
It's almost as if like not only the song, but Johnny Cash was brought into originally. For this film.
And there's a part in the trailer where it uses a part towards the end of the song where like the guitar starts ramping up.
And the action's ramping up.
Yep. And it's just whoever put that trailer together is a fucking artist. Like
that trailer's responsible for the box office. of this film. I don't have any numbers in front of me, but there's no way
I
that
can't even remember another trailer for the movie.
I don't remember being so hyped for a film and like sitting, because you're watching trailers in the movie theater.
Yeah.
You're eating popcorn. You're still chit chatting. You're like not taking any of it. You see the trailer. You lean over. You thumbs up. You thumbs down. You're like, fuck it. Maybe I'll catch that one on Netflix or whatever. Like my eyes were glued onto the fucking screen. It was like this was the movie. I could have left.
Right.
After the trailer and been happy and just fuck whatever movie that was,
I know there's a lot of people like to avoid trailers. I really like trailers. I kind of see it as like its own art in a way.
Well, not every trailer's like this.
That's true too.
A lot of trailers are spoilery as
trailers
fuck.
have come a long way since like the 80s, 90s. Remember when you had like the trailer guy going like, in a world where blah, 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 I'm going to tell you the whole plot of the movie.
Right.
We don't do that anymore. Now trailers are kind of like, they feel a lot more artistic.
Sometimes.
It's usually the teaser trailers that do.
I don't
think
Because
the teaser trailer for Wakanda Forever with the music in that was also really good.
I don't remember that one.
It was like it was a mix of two songs. One of them was No Woman No Cry, and then it was mixed with another song.
I kind of remember that one.
But it was done really well.
Dude, it's never gonna
It
beat
doesn't
this
touch
trailer.
Logan.
This is
but
like give it an award for best teaser trailer because it's this.
It is good. I do recommend listeners that you go and watch that trailer before continuing this episode.
I'm only upset that like they didn't put, because at the end there's a Johnny Cash song that they play at the credits.
But it's a different one. It's a more like, that one feels like oddly upbeat, but also like sad at the same time.
Kinda, yeah.
Which I guess
they should have just
matches the ending.
I guess they should have just put on her like.
Hurt would have been
It's a shame
good.
that like the song's like not officially part of the movie.
At least they didn't put Ring of Fire.
Yeah,
that would have just been out of place.
Stupid, yeah. But also, the Johnny Cash Hurt music video is sometimes called like one of the best music videos ever too, because like his wife had just died or something. He's at the end of his career. And
Isn't the video just him playing?
It's him, but it's in like this cabin in like the middle, or it's like a
really
farmhouse in the
and,
middle of a fucking farm. Apparently, I think it was his own house that they filmed it in.
Okay.
The guy who filmed it like was like nervous about it because it was basically like interviewing Johnny Cash, only more intimately, because it was with the camera, and like they did it quickly, and it really came together. It's a beautiful music video.
I haven't seen it.
It's really good. And the story, I'm not doing it justice, but the story that goes along with it is also very good. Check those things out. I'm going to link both those things below.
Johnny Cash
really
was a fantastic musician.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm definitely linking those below, so check them out. Let's talk about Old Man Logan for a second.
Oh, yeah, the batshit crazy comic book.
So this movie is very loosely based on Old Man Logan.
It's so loose.
It's just like a vibe. Like, right?
Yeah, it's like, I would say the only real similarities to the comic is fucked up world and Logan's old. That's about it.
I think it's just,
and I guess
like,
road trip.
Yeah, it's like the visual, like from the comic book cover of Old Man Logan, like, and they matched it for like the movie poster and shit.
Yeah, but wait till you hear what happens in that fucking comic.
Yeah, give me a quick one.
Right. So first, I want to iterate that there are multiple versions of Old Man Logan because comic books. The one I'm talking about though is going to be that original Old Man Logan 5-issue comic run.
Okay.
8-issue, sorry, which was during the third volume of just an ongoing Wolverine series. I guess they just kind of started doing it, which might have been a little jarring.
Okay.
Because you're just reading a Wolverine comic, then all of a sudden you're like,
He's
boom,
old.
alternate reality. But all right, so it takes place in Earth 807128, and it has been conquered, and specifically the U.S. I don't know about the whole world, but the U.S. has been conquered and divided among supervillains.
Oh, okay.
So Abomination, Magneto, Doctor Doom, and Red Skull each control territories within the U.S.
Okay.
And then some of those territories shift hands. So Hulk eventually conquers Abomination's territory. And then a new Kingpin rises and conquers Magneto's territory and kills him because he said Magneto is too old.
Oh.
Yeah. Which I guess Magneto would have been pretty fucking old.
He'd be pretty old, yeah.
Yeah. Because it's still like also in the future. At this point, pretty much all superheroes have been wiped out. There's a couple survivors, but they're mostly in hiding. Which brings us to Logan, who lives on just barren land with his wife and children.
Oh, he has a wife and kids.
Yes, and at this point, he does not go by Wolverine anymore. It's just Logan, and he hasn't had any violence or anything, and he hasn't popped his claws in 50 years.
Oh.
So he's kind of like vowed to like...
He's done.
Yeah, he's done. And you do find out later why. And so where Logan lives right now is in Hulk gang territory.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of shake down Logan and his family for rent money because they're late on the rent.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's fucked up. And fun fact about the Hulk gang.
Remember, like, he made his debut fighting the Hulk.
He did. So I guess it's kind of appropriate.
He's like getting shaken down for rent.
But fun fact about the Hulk gang, they are the inbred hillbilly grandchildren of Bruce Banner and Jennifer Walters.
I knew you were gonna fucking say that. That's so gross.
It is. That's some like Ultimate Universe shit. I feel like.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is very edgy and yeah. They shake down Logan for rent money. They beat the shit out of him, and they're like, "All right, double next month, or you're all dead."
God, I thought they were friends.
And then I don't know what the fuck happened to Hulk. Hawkeye then shows up and.
Isn't he like blind? No,
He's blind.
Oh, he's blind,
and he's very old at this point.
Right. That's so funny that he's blind when, like, in the regular comics, he's deaf.
Right.
Sometimes
they always take away a sense from him. But he shows up and he's like, "Hey, I got a job for you. I'll pay you." I think he offers him like $500, which is like I guess a shit ton of money in this world.
All right.
Because like that could pay your rent for a long time. I think rent might only be like $28 or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. But he offers him the
Must
job.
Must be nice, right?
It's basically to be a courier.
We're living in a big city in Florida where rent skyrockets.
We could barely afford it.
Anyway, go on.
Yeah, he gets Logan to take this job. It's for a courier. It's for a package. He doesn't tell him what's in the package. Logan's like, "Is that something illegal?" And Hawkeye's like, "I'm not saying shit."
That means yes.
But like Hawkeye goes with him, so they go together, and it becomes kind of like a road trip story.
Okay, yeah.
And fun fact, they take the spider buggy, which used to be known as a Spider-Mobile.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, so it's like there's a lot of like old callbacks to like older Marvel stuff because all the Marvel heroes are dead. And then along the way, they get attacked by a biker gang that call themselves the Ghost Riders.
Oh, any relation?
I don't think so.
None of them can ghost ride?
There's fire and stuff. I actually just started reading this comic after reading about it.
Wow. Okay.
Which, all right, by the way,
too weird.
I'm going to be going all the way, like, Cliff Notes version of the story, but the ending and stuff will be spoiled. So if you want to skip ahead to, insert time here.
I'm not doing that.
Okay,
I might do that. Go on.
So they get attacked by a biker gang called the Ghost Riders along the way. They also make an attempted rescue to Hawkeye's estranged daughter, Ashley Barton.
Oh, okay.
Who is the daughter of him and Spider-Man's youngest daughter.
I don't like any of this.
So his daughter's a Spider-Woman, and she calls herself Spider Bitch.
No,
I'm not even joking.
That's cringy. Go on. Let's just power through it.
So they try to rescue her because they found out she was captured by the Kingpin. She was getting help from Daredevil and Punisher to try and overthrow Kingpin, and they were captured. She was arrested, and Punisher and Daredevil were executed by being fed to dinosaurs.
What?
There's dinosaurs.
Where'd the dinosaurs come from?
Savage Land.
What's that again?
I forgot. It's like a secret area. I don't think it's interdimensional. I think it's on Earth.
There's dinosaurs on Earth. Marvel.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's like almost like a sanctuary for like prehistoric.
I've seen some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they get eaten by dinosaurs.
Okay. Well.
But they do rescue Spider Bitch.
Okay.
And
yeah, no, I know, right? Sable's here, and she's like, "What?" Yeah, this is real.
But then Spider Bitch betrays Logan and Hawkeye.
Oh no.
She kills Kingpin, takes over, and then starts hunting them down. It's a lot. And after that happens, you know, they're kind of, not only are they trying to deliver a package, but they're also on the run.
Kaya, listen to your mother.
Kaya.
Go.
She wants to hang.
Okay.
Okay, she wants to be with me.
Okay. Yeah.
And so now they're on the run in addition to, you know, just trying to deliver this damn package. And at some point they stop in a bar. Logan talks to Hawkeye. He tells him the reason why he doesn't like to fight anymore and he hasn't popped his claws or anything. So one night the X Mansion is invaded by a bunch of supervillains. And Logan was helping all the children escape, like evacuate.
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point during all this, like he lost track of all the X-Men. So it was just him against all these villains. And then so he fights them all. He kills them all. And it's just down, but Bullseye's the last villain standing, of all people.
Hmm.
And then Wolverine kills Bullseye. As he kills Bullseye, Jubilee appears. He had just
Why?
killed Jubilee. And then Mysterio pops out. Guess what happened? Mysterio tricked Wolverine to killing all the X-Men with an illusion. Yeah. Yeah, it's another thing that's like, eh.
This is stupid. This is a stupid comic book. I don't like it.
And just ever since then, he's like, I'm not going to use my claws anymore.
Oh.
Kaya.
You want it out. Go.
Ever since then, he's like, I'm not going to use my claws anymore. I'm not going to fight. Like, I'm done. Like, Wolverine is dead.
Gone.
And then Wolverine
So that
tries.
was the past.
That was the past. That was like
Okay.
him telling the story to Hawkeye.
Okay.
And then after all this happened, Wolverine actually tried to kill himself
Oh.
by laying his neck down on a train track.
Oh, Phil.
Guess what? It didn't work because he's Wolverine.
Wait, did he get decapitated and his head like just
I
grew another
haven't
body
got
or
to that part in the
something?
comic
Oh.
yet. But
Okay.
probably.
I think that's what happens to like.
But also he has an
Deadpool,
adamantium
right?
skeleton, so I don't think he would get decapitated.
Oh, true.
The train probably derailed, honestly.
Yeah, it's a good question actually.
I guess I'll find out when
So
I get there.
some of that makes its way into this, like
A little bit.
You know, he's got the adamantium bullet
That he's prepared to use on
Yeah,
himself.
and someone in this movie killed all the X-Men.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that.
Yeah. So after he tells Hawkeye the story, you know, Hawkeye understands him a little more.
Hmm.
And then eventually, obviously, they finish their journey. They deliver the package. They find out inside the package was the super soldier serum. And the plan was to use that serum to, like, there was supposedly an underground resistance, and they were going to use the serum to kind of, like, form a new Avengers, rise up and fight all the villains.
Hmm.
This underground resistance was a setup by the villains.
Of course.
And so things go south. Hawkeye is killed. Logan is gunned down. Logan then wakes up inside of Red Skull's trophy room where there's a bunch of like fallen hero memorabilia and stuff. He eventually fights his way out. He kills Red Skull by decapitating him with Captain America's shield.
Oh.
And then he uses Iron Man's armor to escape and go back home.
Okay. A lot of connectivity though.
Yeah.
Give
there
it
actually
that.
is. And then, Logan gets home. He finds out his family was killed by the Hulk gang anyway because they got bored waiting.
Okay. What the
And that's the last straw for him. So he's ready to be the Wolverine again.
Uh-huh.
And then so he goes and hunts down the Hulk gang one by one, kills all of them until he gets to Bruce, who is now called Papa Banner. They really leaned into the hillbilly thing.
Oh. So
Yeah.
he's not the one. Wait, because there's a version of Hulk where he's what's his name? He's like a gangster. He's like a Vegas mafia guy.
That's like Fix It
That's
Joe. Joe Fix It.
Joe Fix It. Yeah.
I don't know too much about him. I know he exists.
Yeah. He's like gray, I think.
Because there's another Hulk that's like super old and like smart, and
yeah.
I think that's from like Old Man Hawkeye,
Oh,
which is
God.
another dystopian future thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gets to Bruce Banner. He fights him. Bruce defeats him and eats him.
Oh, that's not how I wanted this to end.
But then Wolverine regenerates inside of his body
God
and cuts his
damn
way
it.
out.
Foolish of me to think that this would be normal.
And then at the end of the comic, being the Wolverine again, he sets out to go take out like the villains that run the country, basically.
Okay, well,
It's a lot.
that sounds
And that's
awful.
the Cliff Notes version.
I hated all of that. The thing like
And this was in like 2008, so this is like
not that long ago, all things considered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is also when like comics were edgy then. Because this was also when like Ultimate Universe was like hitting its peak too. I think this was around the time they did all the Ultimatum bullshit.
Captain America was dead at the time in the regular comics.
Yes, because it was what, like a year after Civil War.
He died in like 07.
He died right after Civil War. He got sniped by Bullseye.
Yeah. In the chat, Blake is saying, Blake's here. Blake takes everyone. Wolverine and Jean's romance in the OG X-Men is weird.
Wolverine and Jean's romance is always weird.
I feel like your use of OG is weird.
He means the OG movie.
I know. There's like 20 X-Men things that came out before that. I don't. It's a fun three-way situation.
It's just Wolverine being a simp.
Yeah, it's a love triangle.
Yeah.
You know. Philly says, "Evening, boys. I don't know if I'll be back tonight. Just with family. I wanted to pop on and say hi.
Oh,
hello.
Thank you for saying hi, Philly.
Well, we know you like it when we get on late, so
yeah,
here we are.
We thought we'd do it for you.
I'm so tired. But like, kudos to this movie for like, hey, let's make an Old Man Logan story where it's just like
ridiculous story and make it something that works.
No, let's just take the premise where he's old, like literally just like Old Man Logan, and like make it a character driven thing. Like, what are the appropriate themes to tackle at the end of Logan's life? Not all these other how many fucking weird dystopian versions of Marvel characters can we squeeze into this comic? You know.
I'm curious as to what the story of Old Man Hawkeye, and there's also an Old Man Star-Lord comic.
Are they all canon to each other, or are they different?
So. I think they're all different.
They're like all one-offs in different directions?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's get started on this film, Logan. Plot. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I condensed this more than usual, so we're gonna breeze right through it.
Oh, okay.
In the year 2029, Logan wakes up in the backseat of his limo as its wheels are being stolen by a gang. He warns them to leave, but they shoot him instead. The aging Logan is slow to heal from his wounds, but gruesomely kills the gang one by one when they attack, trying to protect his limo from gunshots. It's been 25 years since the youngest mutants have been born, and society has moved past them. Logan makes a feeble living driving musicians, funeral attendees, and the occasional flashing bachelorette.
Hell yeah.
When a lady who recognizes him as Wolverine approaches for help, he ignores her and is later approached by a man with a robotic hand named Donald Pierce, who works for Transigen and wants his help in finding the lady.
Do we know much about Donald Pierce?
Yep. I looked him up briefly.
Because he seems like an interesting character in this movie.
He's not that big a deal. He's an X-Men villain. He is most interesting thing about Donald Pierce is that he is based on Donald Sutherland, the actor.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. Just because?
I think just because. I think it was like a facial and hair thing.
Like kind of what they did with like what they ended up doing with Nick Fury and Samuel Jackson.
Kinda, yeah. Only
they're like, we're just gonna make him Sam Jackson.
Slightly further back. They're just, and then they named it after him too.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, Donald Sutherland from The Italian Job.
Yeah.
Don't look now. No, not Don't Look Now. Don't.
Too bad they couldn't get him to play him.
Back. Don't talk. Don't look away. Wow. Fuck. What's the name of that horror movie?
Don't look away. Don't talk back.
I want to say Don't Look Now, but like Don't Look Now is the new movie, right?
What's it about?
It's Don't Look Now because I was thinking about Don't Worry, Darling, or Don't. What's that movie called?
Oh,
the new one.
I think is it Don't Worry, Darling?
I think it's Don't Worry, Darling, right?
I don't know.
Anyway, it was a classic horror movie. It's not that horror-y. It's very suspenseful though with Donald Sutherland.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on. He is the leader of the Reavers, I think, is what they call themselves.
Okay.
And it's these bionic men.
Okay.
Basically, to kind of combat the mutants. They're not mutants.
Did you know anything about him before this?
No, of course not.
Okay. I wasn't a big X-Men comic guy, so the X-Men part of the Marvel universe is there's always new stuff for me to learn there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and there's a lot.
And Transigen, we hadn't seen them in the movies prior, right?
No.
They're like a new company.
Yeah, they're a new company. but they are clearly, as we learn later, just an evolution of
Whatever Stryker was doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the people in Acolyte. I think at some point they call it Alkali Transigen. I don't know if that's an official name or they just call it that, because it's dropped a few times in the.
There's a lot
dialogue.
of like dialogue that it's like, if you don't know exactly what they're saying though, you might be lost.
Yeah, it doesn't see
because there's a lot of world building in this, but
Yeah.
you have to kind of already know the world.
sort like it doesn't hold your hand at all, like at all.
And I kind of like that, but also
Yeah.
it's like
I like a movie that treats you like an adult.
on a casual viewing though. You're like, what are they talking about?
Yeah. I like that he's as miserable as possible, but when that girl drops her shirt and is like, "Hey,
he
driver,"
has like a little smile. It's like,
he
all right.
smiles. He still smiles at the boobs. He's
He's
not
like,
fully.
all right, that's nice.
He's not
Didn't
fully
they tip
dead
him like
inside.
shit though?
I don't remember.
I think he checks his phone and was like, oh, because they only paid for 2 passengers,
Fuck.
but there was like 6 of them.
See, yeah, but I like that. There's a lot of like,
I like how he's just an Uber driver, essentially.
Yeah. I don't know if this. It doesn't. Uber's older than I want to give it credit, but I remember the first time I used an Uber was like 2015.
Okay.
So Uber's been around for a while, but I like that they saw Uber had only been around for like a year or 2 at the time. By the time this is being written and made, and they're
They're
like,
like, he's
this
gonna do
is
that.
clearly the future, right? Like you're just gonna do it on your phone.
Hey, we're still doing it.
To that end, that car he's driving is a 2024 Chrysler limo. That's this year.
Whoa.
Limos
did
don't
Chrysler
look like that.
release that?
No,
Well, they should have.
they should have.
Just for 1 year.
I'm
Like,
still
come on.
waiting for. We're almost at the 2025, or it was either 2025 or 2050. Or maybe it was 2020. The Lexus from
Minority Report.
Minority Report.
That looked so fucking futuristic.
It did, and I remember at the time it was like Lexus designed that. It wasn't the movie
It
people.
was just a concept car.
It was
though,
like,
but-
no, yeah, it was a concept car, but they took it to Lexus for like extreme product placement. They made commercials about that car to tie in with the movie. It was a big deal.
They never released it.
I think there's probably a concept somewhere, but yeah,
Maybe like 1 or 2.
I want to look up what
Because
year.
even Back to like Nike did the shoes for Back to the Future at least.
Didn't they
It
do
was a
that,
very
like,
limited release.
Didn't they do that like years later though?
I think they did it in like 2018 or something. Yeah, it was later. It wasn't 2015 though.
But yeah, to your point, I like how much visual storytelling there is. You have to really be paying attention and read the things. You have to start reading signs on the walls
To figure out where they're at,
Billboards.
what they're doing.
If there's a lot of signs and billboards for an energy drink, and I remember thinking to myself, it's the camera's like kind of like lingering on it, like this
Right.
is probably a plot point.
Well,
and
then
it is
we learn about the cornstarch.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
that is one of the drinks that's making people.
And the movie just kind of glosses over it too. It goes through it so quickly.
Again, the movie's not holding your hand.
No,
Treats
it's
you
not.
like an adult.
Yeah.
I like it. Logan makes a routine trip south of the border to an abandoned facility in Mexico. There, an albino mutant named Caliban is helping Logan care for Charles Xavier, now elderly and suffering from dementia and
This
seizures.
is so sad to see.
I mean, obviously, like, this movie's very sad. Like, it's very sad.
Oh yeah.
Logan keeps him inside a fallen water tower shell and heavily sedated to keep him from telepathically hurting anyone again. Logan hopes to save enough money to buy a boat and take Charles out to sea to live out the rest of their lives, a plan Caliban resents he cannot be included in. Caliban calls out Logan for not taking care of himself. His vision is failing, his wounds are not healing, and his adamantium skeleton seems to be poisoning him slowly. In a moment of sanity, Professor X shares with Logan that he can hear thoughts from the outside. New young mutants looking for Logan. Logan dismisses him, and Charles expresses his disappointment in Logan.
For giving up.
Yeah. There is some... Watching, like, Charles break down is... Not only is it sad, it feels realistic if you've ever dealt
Right.
with an elderly person
Also,
in dementia.
just seeing him be like, why are you leaving me with that fucking albino? It's like he's not himself.
No, he's... Right.
Yeah.
He's having outbursts. He's angry.
Yeah.
Like, if you ever deal with, like, an elderly person whom you familiar with, like not someone maybe you work with or
Well,
whatever.
it's heartbreaking.
It is, because they're no longer really the person you remember or cared for.
Yeah.
But like
They might be in like moments, but it's like
yeah.
it's fleeting.
but it's also like not their fault. Like this is just what happens.
Yeah.
And so it seems so out of character to see like Charles, first of all, like being angry and cursing and losing his temper, but also like not being sane, right? And then also like
Having a seizure.
being disappointed in Logan. Like
that too,
that's not
yeah.
something like Professor X would have done. Professor X is very optimistic,
Yeah.
and he would have been like, he would have given Logan like
Some sort of lecture.
like some sort of encouragement, right? He wouldn't be like, you suck and I'm disappointed in you. Like, but this is him at the end of his fucking rope, like, and he's done for, and he has dementia, and he's just saying what he's thinking, and it's realistic in a way.
Yeah.
And it's also like you said, it's heartbreaking, and it only works because we're so familiar with this character.
Well, yeah, because at this point it had been what, like
6 appearances or something like that.
6 appearances over the course of like
A
18
decade.
years.
Yeah, several
18
more
years.
than a decade. Yeah.
Yeah, almost 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's. Whew. I think by the time we hit Multiverse of Madness, it had been 2 decades.
So something I thought about while watching this movie, is that I know this is not the last movie, like, release order or chronological. Actually, chronologically, it is the last movie.
Yeah.
For the Fox universe. But if you're like gonna go back and rewatch the Fox universe, like you should watch this one last.
This should be the finale.
This should be the finale because it's. I haven't seen fucking.
I haven't seen Dark Phoenix.
Phoenix. This is probably better, first of all, but it's also like thematically there's a lot of closure to like, because this shares a lot of themes with the first X-Men movie from 2000. But
he even mentions the first time he
does.
found Logan. He's like, you were a cage fighter
at the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, and then
where he gets confused. He's like, oh, they're coming for you at the Statue of Liberty.
yeah,
and he's like, that was a long time ago.
No, that was a long time ago, Charles. But they mention it. Yeah.
And here's another thing too, is that like no mutant has been born in 25 years. That's pretty much around the time of like X-Men 3. From
when the Cure
Yeah.
came out.
So it's like later on in the movie you find out what exactly happened.
Yeah, and I meant to say corn syrup, not cornstarch earlier.
Oh, did you say cornstarch?
I said cornstarch.
Oh.
I meant corn syrup.
I understood cornstarch.
High fructose corn syrup.
Yeah. That part's kind of real.
They are doing stuff to the corn syrup.
I mean, we're not like
We're not wiping out like mutants, but
or are we? We don't know.
I guess,
Anyway, I wanted to talk about, on that note, let's get to the next one, and I'll come back to this. Back in Texas, Logan gets a limo request at a shabby motel. It's the lady from the funeral. Her name is Gabriella, and she tracked him down for help getting her and a little girl named Laura to the Canadian border for $20,000 now and $30,000 later. Logan agrees and tells Charles he'll be gone for a few days, but when he returns to the motel, Gabriella is dead and Laura is missing.
and there is some visual storytelling here with the phone too.
What's that?
Because obviously you had her texting him.
Yeah.
And then the last thing she said was hurry, but then he goes into the room later and finds her phone. She was like in the middle of sending him another message.
Oh, what is
You
that?
only see it for like a second. It's like, it says like they're here already, and then like the message got cut off because she didn't get to finish.
Oh, okay. There's some of that going on in Spanish too, where like by that I mean like storytelling
That's not subtitled.
Yeah, it's kind of subliminal.
It's more like more context, I guess.
Yeah.
What do they say?
There's some parts I wrote down, but like, I mean, I wrote it down. We'll get to it.
We'll get to it.
He takes her phone and the envelope of money she had and returns to Mexico. Caliban, who can smell mutants, sniffs a backpack and bouncy ball in Logan's trunk, and Donald Pierce pulls up, having followed Logan from the motel. He knows Logan is harboring Charles Xavier, but is only interested in Laura, who Logan is completely unaware of her whereabouts. When tensions get high, Donald Pierce is knocked out by a pipe thrown by Laura.
That was a good throw.
Yeah. And it's a surprise, too, because, like, tensions are high. Like, they're in each other's
high.
faces.
They're in the middle of a conversation.
And the writing is so good. Like, the tension is escalated so well. Ugh. She hitchhiked from in his trunk, and Charles is delighted the girl he's been communicating with telepathically has arrived.
No, and he's so happy to be like talking to her and stuff
It's just funny because he shows up and he's like, Logan, it's the girl I was talking about. It's like, I'm fighting somebody right now.
And he's like, dude, like,
Caliban, played by
I don't know who plays him, but he does a good job.
the guy from The Office,
Really,
the other Office.
the British Office.
Mm-hmm.
Is he the same guy?
Stephen Merchant.
Is he also in Pirates of the Caribbean? Am I thinking of the right guy?
No, it's not that guy.
You know who I'm thinking about, though, right? Yeah.
Here, I'll tell you what else Stephen Merchant's in. Yeah, so he was in The Office, the Ricky Gervais show. He was in a series called The Ricky Gervais Show,
Right.
but he was in the Ricky Gervais version of The Office.
He was the fucking Nazi in Jojo Rabbit. The officer.
The tall one. He's very tall,
Yes.
as you can see
Okay.
in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, he was so good in Jojo Rabbit.
Apparently he's in the Wolverine. Oh, Google might be fucking up right now. I don't remember him being in the Wolverine.
Yeah, he's in
Unless he
Logan.
played a different character, which I guess is possible.
Wait a second. Let me see if that's in mine. It is not in mine. That's incorrect.
Okay, that's some Google AI shit.
Yep. Yeah, AI is wrong a lot, by the way.
Yeah.
Because it's just borrowing off people being wrong and just taking
That's
it
what
as
it's
fact.
learning,
Yeah.
I think Caliban shows up in another X-Men movie, though. Not played by the same guy, I don't think. I think he's in one of the... It's either Apocalypse or Dark Phoenix that Caliban is in.
Really?
Yeah, he's in another X-Men movie.
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah, no, I think you're right. Obviously he's younger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know which one. He's in X-Men Apocalypse.
I think he's fantastic in this movie. So it was such an interesting choice.
Yeah.
But
And he's more interesting than like 90% of the side mutants that they show in every other movie.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, they could have had like another named character that we had seen before, but it's like this guy comes out of nowhere and he does an incredible job, and he's kind of the perfect character for this role.
Yeah.
You know, because you also don't think too hard about him. You're not like sad when he kills himself later, but you kind of
You recognize the sacrifice.
Yeah. And he's like he's really good when he's on screen. Charles tries convincing Logan that Laura is a special mutant, while Caliban unsuccessfully dumps Donald's unconscious body.
He's so bad at this.
Yeah, I don't know why Wolverine thought that was a good idea.
Is the only reason they didn't kill him because if they thought they did, then Transigen
Yeah.
would be on their asses.
What do you mean, kill who?
Donald.
I don't think like Wolverine. Like, I don't think he
I don't
just
think
wants
Wolverine
to
wants
murder
to
people.
kill.
Yeah,
I think he just wants to be left alone.
Yeah, like he only
Kind of like old man Logan.
he only kills those cholos because like they were like shooting at him.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
they wanted to.
They blasted him with a
Yeah.
shotgun. Yeah.
Like they took it to that level, so he was like, "Fuck it, decapitate."
Stab. Yeah. Yeah, they deserve. Donald kind of deserves it though. He's
Oh, he's a piece of shit, but I really like him. Actor's great.
I
didn't catch his name.
He's such a good villain,
He's a great villain. He's menacing.
and he's
kinda
another
scary.
character that came out of nowhere, and it's like
Yeah.
I'd love to hate this guy.
Yeah. And he's like a minor X-Men character.
Yeah.
I liked him quite a bit.
Yep.
Charles tries convincing Logan that Laura is a special mutant, while Caliban unsuccessfully dumps Donald's unconscious body. Donald turns the gun on him, and his army of private security joins him. They arrive back to the compound, where Logan tries putting Charles away to escape, leaving Laura in the building. Surrounded, Donald dispenses some pleasantries, but demands Laura. They hold Logan down while a few soldiers enter to retrieve Laura. Moments later, Laura willingly exits the building with the decapitated head of one soldier. Laura menacingly approaches the soldiers, and adamantium claws come out of her fists. She lures the team back inside and kills them all one by one. Some with the two claws that retract from... No. Some with the... Oh, yeah, because she has 2 feet.
Yeah.
some with the claws that retract from her feet. Logan is inspired to help, and the two kill most of the soldiers. Logan drives a limo, and the trio tries to escape. After failing to burst through the fence, Logan drags it and whips it around, killing more soldiers. They finally escape the compound by beating an oncoming train across the tracks.
I like that the escape through the fence didn't work.
Me too. As soon as it happened, I'm like, oh, this feels like more realistic.
Yeah.
Because fences are stronger than you think.
Right. Like, even like a big vehicle like a limo, it's not just going to knock it over.
Because you'd have to think about it. Like, there's so many connections down a fence.
Well, it's like a metal net.
Yeah, you have to break all of those.
Yeah.
Like, if one
you have to be going very, very, very fast.
Yeah, it's not just going to happen like that. Like, you have to do... Now, the gate, because that's just one chain link.
Mm-hmm.
That's no problem.
It's easier to bust through a gate than a fence.
Yeah.
For future reference, everybody.
Yeah.
If you're trying to escape in a vehicle.
But I like that. And I like this kind of action that feels down to earth.
Yeah, similar to what the Daredevil series did.
Yeah.
Where, like, he was getting the shit beat out of him. You know, he wasn't just like, all right, you're all done.
Right.
No, like Daredevil got
it just feels like such a long way away from X-Men Origins. Where, like, they're just like, hey, like, but all these guys are just going to do a ton of flips. You know,
for no reason.
And that's impressive. It's like, no, it's not. Like, what's impressive is like they got caught in the fence. That really like amps up the attention.
I like how they drag the fence with them when they're backing up.
Yeah, and he whips it around and like the fucking what's the thing
like
that goes on top of the fence?
Oh, the barbed wire?
The barbed wire is like fucking like killing people. Like, that's great.
It's a good action scene.
Any action with Laura in it is outstanding.
Yeah.
And I think like
she is brutal.
That is like far and away one of the best like production aspects of this film.
Mm-hmm.
Is this little girl, Daphne Keaton, and whatever stunt little girl is.
Yeah.
Whatever they did, you can't really see the seams. You can't tell that like anything's been kind of like rehearsed or edited special. Like, she's just straight up kicking ass. And she's like 10 years old.
Yeah. And
it's insane.
I noticed that like when Laura walks out with the decapitated head, like Donald is like unfazed.
Well, yeah. But also
he's just kind of like, well, I kind of expected that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But when she starts walking towards him, I love that like they're all backing away. And Donald's like the only part of the movie where he's kind of scared. Is when this 10-year-old is approaching him.
When she starts getting closer, he's like, oh, fuck.
He's like, all right, get her. Like, it's such
I'm starting to lose my cool.
Dude, and if I remember correctly, like, I can't remember what was and what was not spoiled in the trailers. I think we would deduce that there was a
We deduced that she was a mutant and that she was like Logan.
Well, I think we only deduced it because we knew about X-23 and Laura Kinney.
I feel like in the trailer, Charles says like she's like you a lot more than you think, or a lot like you, or something like that. It's like alluded to.
Yeah.
I don't think it's directly stated though.
We knew there'd be another Wolverine because there's that scene where he blocks his claws and there's like 20 claws on the screen. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 12 claws on the screen.
So many, yeah.
Anyway, fantastic action. Anything Laura's in is incredible. 10 out of 10. There's this. Oh my god, when she gets in the fucking limo, and first of all, like she just jumps on top of the car, hangs on top of it for a little bit, and then like
goes
flips
into,
in
like,
the sunroof.
Yeah,
dude, so fucking cool. And then she takes her arm, puts it up to her mouth, and sucks a bullet out and spits it out while she's healing.
It's badass,
bro. I feel like
that's more badass than anything we've seen Wolverine do.
That's what I'm saying. Like Wolverine could never. And the other thing I wanted to say is I really enjoy that, like, when he's trying to escape, his only focus is Charles.
Yeah.
You know, he's still kind of like a father figure to him.
I feel like he was ready to leave Caliban.
He was ready to leave Caliban, and he was ready to leave Laura. He didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he sees like Laura fighting, and it's starting to like kick off his kind of like empathy for other people.
Yeah.
Especially mutants. Mm-hmm. You know, because I think at this point he's like, fuck humans.
Yeah, they ruined everything.
Yeah.
We did. Sorry.
Donald Pierce. You know what? Before I move on to that point, I love there's some subtle commentary in this movie about how like, yeah, we did kind of ruin a lot of things in real life. They're like unchecked capitalism, the fucking corn syrup industry,
Yeah.
just like ruining foods, ruining people, feeding them unhealthy shit, and just
knowing
take
that
it.
we're doing it.
Yeah, and it's not a secret. Also, there is a very strong sense of irony that these characters throughout this movie start out in Mexico, willingly cross the border, and then are trying their hardest to get to the border to safety to Canada.
Yeah.
like
get the fuck out of the U.S. Get the fuck out of here.
There is a very not subtle commentary there, which I thought was creative at least.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Pierce remembers Caliban from his time working together, tracking down mutants. He coerces him to help track Logan and Laura. Logan and Charles open Gabriella's phone, where she left a video intended to expose Transigen after her death. She was a nurse for the company, based in Mexico City, where she helped foster mutant children that were born in captivity using in vitro fertilization, mutant DNA, and expendable Mexican ladies as mothers. They were experimented on and raised to be killers until Gabriella and the other nurses staged a breakout. The phone dies as she was about to say in Spanish, "These are the babies of dead mutants." Charles insists Laura is Logan's biological daughter. After an awkward gas station visit where Laura almost kills the clerk for trying to get her to pay for snacks.
That poor man.
Yeah. Well, yeah, also he's like murdered in the next scene.
Unfortunately, yeah. I guess for seeing too much.
Yeah. Logan charges the phone and finishes the video. Gabriella finishes the video by admitting to Logan that she lied about the second payment and that there's nothing left for him to do but to get Laura to the North Dakota to a secret safe place for mutants in Canada called Eden. So what I wanted to say earlier is where I think this movie takes its most inspiration, because it's not Old Man Logan, as we've already established, is a movie called Children of Men. Have you seen Children of Men?
I have not.
You need to make this movie your top priority.
Whoa.
It's one of my favorite films. I just want to go ahead and say that. Period.
Okay.
This is literally one. If I have a lot of favorite movies, but if someone were to ask me what my favorite movie is, I would say Children of Men because it's the most interesting answer. But also, like, it's an incredible
I'm a
film.
Citizen Kane guy myself.
Yeah, right.
Citizen Kane's kind of boring.
Overrated. Okay, I said it.
Yeah.
I said it.
I have seen it, but
it was first of all, you can see Rosebud coming from a mile away.
I'm sure at the time it was revolutionary.
Maybe. Anyway, it's a movie by Alfonso Cuarón before he won all those Academy Awards.
Oh, okay.
But I think this is one of his best movies. And if you want to know how familiar it is to this film, without spoiling too much, Children of Men, the premise is it's a pre-apocalyptic future because it's been 25 years since a human child has been born. Okay. So there are no more children. And the assumption is this is it for humanity.
We're done.
We're
cooked.
We're cooked. Who's left is left, and the rest of us are going to die. And so now they're kind of falling into that kind of pre-apocalyptic universe, right? The main character, played by Clive Owen, is kind of sort of given a mission. He's a kind of a reluctant hero in this. And he has to escort this lady to a place. He doesn't know where it is, and it's a place where she will have refuge, though there is doubt this place exists. Very similar to this movie.
All right.
And why she's important, he discovers immediately because she's pregnant. She represents the potential of new humanity, which is exactly what this movie does, only with mutants. It's been 25 years since the last mutant was born. Mutants are dying out. The world has moved on past them. It is pre-apocalyptic for mutants.
Right.
It is a very harrowing future, and Logan has the opportunity to escort the future. There's a new generation of mutants that he is witnessing with his own eyes, and he has to escort her to this Eden that may or may not exist. It's the same exact plot.
Yeah, and like speaking on that a little bit, because this is basically a dystopian world, but really only for mutants.
Right.
Because we see glimpses of like regular life happening.
Yeah.
People are just
Yeah.
living life normally.
Right. And that makes it extra sad.
Yes, because it's a minority being wiped out.
Yeah.
It's
They don't
like genocide.
Well, what's funny, yeah, and what's kind of like extra sad, the layer is that like after all the things we saw in the X-Men movies, inconsequential. Like, it
all
didn't-
the hardships they went through,
Didn't
what, for
matter.
nothing?
It was all
Yeah.
for nothing because now you're extinct. So big fucking whoop. And that's why I'm saying like this is the perfect.
Stryker wins.
Yeah. Yeah. Even Magneto was wrong. Like this, like nothing happened. All the things you fought for, nothing happened.
Yeah.
Because you all ended up going extinct anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like the thing you feared the most came to fruition. And it's like that's why I'm like this
Even
works.
changing the timeline didn't save it.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like even like just watch this one at the end because it closes up a lot of those things. Yeah, in a sad way, but also kind of like in what's the word? When you have to feel your feelings.
Emotional?
Oh,
Nostalgic.
oh my god, what's the word?
Bittersweet.
It's like you have to have a closure. It's like a good cry.
Oh. Closure?
No, there's a fucking word. God damn it. This is the part where you're supposed to help me with my words.
I don't know what you're trying to say. Just another word for closure?
No, it's the purging of feelings.
Oh God. Catharsis?
Yes, it's cathartic.
The AI actually helped me with that one.
Oh wow. Anyway, the trio arrive to a casino in Oklahoma City, buy new clothes, and check into their hotel room. Charles shows Laura a 1953 classic western called Shane, featuring Alan Ladd as a titular character, a man with a mysterious past who uses his expert gunfighting skills to protect the settlers living in a Wyoming valley.
I like how he remembers seeing this as a kid.
Yeah,
Like
that's
he's
nice.
fully like aware right now.
Well, he's no longer sedated.
That's true too.
That's kind of the
Well, that becomes an
trade-off.
issue.
Exactly.
Yes.
But he is completely back to normal.
Yeah.
And yeah, he can remember this. And he shares some really good moments with Laura. And I love this whole scene.
It's very
yeah.
sweet.
While the two bond, Logan finds transigen files in Laura's backpack for her and each of her friends. He confirms that they use mutant source DNA and that Laura's is from James Howlett, aka Logan. He also finds X-Men comics, which triggers him.
I like how these are like real X-Men comics too.
I don't know if they're real.
Are they not?
I think they might have been made for this.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
But it's done in the style of like.
Yeah, they look like the
I'm
real
sure
ones.
we could look up if
I-
they were real or not.
Yeah, I want to say there are a couple panels that are real,
Mm-hmm.
but the whole Eden one is, I want to say, original.
Okay.
Yeah, but don't take my word for
I won't. I'll
Good.
look it up later.
it. He confirms that he angrily assures Laura that the comics based on their adventures were incredibly inaccurate and whitewashed, and leaves to buy a new car. While he waits for the truck to be ready, he reads one of the comics, in which Wolverine, Professor X, Cyclops, Storm, Rogue, Colossus, and other X-Men search for a secret location called Eden. The exact coordinates used in the comics match the ones Gabriella was using for real.
And that's when Logan's like, "What the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
are you serious?"
When Logan arrives back to the casino, a psychic wave overcomes all the gamblers and guests into a painful paralysis.
Oh man.
Logan is just strong enough to make it to the room where the soldiers were raiding the room to take Laura. While they're completely frozen, Logan struggles to kill them one by one and injects Charles with a sedative to stop his psychic attack. They escape.
I like how even the bad guys were like about to die here.
Which bad guys?
All
Like
of
Donald
them.
and them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they were all affected by this too. They're like,
Everybody
"Oh
is.
fuck, we're about to like die."
Yeah. And Logan is using his claws to drag him down the hall.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's barely making it through this.
Yep.
And it's maybe because of his healing factor.
Yeah.
That barely works anymore.
And I like how Logan gets pissed off when he sees everybody. He's just like, "All right, fuck it, you're all dying." Like,
I mean, yeah, it was almost like a a Quicksilver scene,
Yeah,
and Quicksilver like,
but much more dramatic.
oh yeah, I mean he's stabbing people's eyes out with his claws. I just love how many like brains he takes out with his claws.
So many. Oh my, that's like his go-to move.
It's great.
Like through the head, through the brain.
Yeah, right in the head, just like bloop 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 bloop. You're dead.
I mean, that's a quick way to take someone out.
So there's a bunch of Easter eggs here. The files that they open, each one, there's only 2 that they show, but each one shows who the source DNA is, and those are pre-established characters.
And pretty much anybody whose DNA they have can pretty much be written off as dead.
Oh yeah,
Logan
dead.
being the exception.
Yeah, everybody's dead.
Yeah.
So the first one was Dominic Petros, aka Avalanche. So he's the older kid we see later. But basically, he has the power of like creating like sonic booms, like sonic waves. And that's why they call him Avalanche, right?
Because he can cause avalanches.
Yeah, it's like seismic chart waves with his hands, basically.
He's like Quake.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. And then the little black kid, his source DNA is Christopher Bradley,
who we saw in.
Yeah. And as soon as I read it, I'm like, oh, he sounds familiar. Where do I know him from? Oh, he was in X-Men Origins Wolverine, played by Dominic Monaghan.
Killed off pretty unceremoniously in that movie.
Yeah, but
I just like it makes sense that they would have his DNA on file.
Yeah,
He was
his
part
DNA lives on.
He was part of the whatever that team was called.
The Weapon X team.
Yeah.
Or what? Yeah, they weren't called that. Were they?
They weren't the X-Force.
Right.
Or were they?
That's a good question.
Because Deadpool's X-Force is different.
I was hoping they'd go through more files. Like, remember when we saw, was it X2?
X2, we see like a whole just list of names.
There was like 20 names. We spent like an hour reading these names.
And who each person was, yeah.
What a waste of time. Anyway, check that episode out, you guys. On the road, Logan turns on the radio. Logan turns off the radio as the news remarks on the casino incident and its similarities to another which injured 600 people and killed many, including the remaining X-Men.
The Westchester incident, they called it. Yeah.
Charles admits that he hasn't taken his medication in 2 days, and they argue about the purpose of their journey, if Eden truly is made up by Gabriella. In either case, Charles sees value in caring for Laura and raising her to be better than Logan. Automated shipping trucks malfunction and run a family carrying horses off the road. Charles convinces Logan that they should help them retrieve their horses and uses his telepathy to lure the horses back off the streets and into their trailer. The family invite them to their farm to thank them over dinner.
And this is where we get the nice little farm scene that we get in like Age of Ultron, Ninja Turtles,
X-Men Origins.
Yeah. This ends more like the X-Men Origins one.
Yeah,
there's
a lot of
tragic. Actually,
this is a very Scream 3 situation where, like,
we're doing the greatest hits, but
we're focusing on the first one. This is a closure to the first one.
Yeah,
you know, like I
didn't like Scream 3 that much.
I like Scream 3.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's funny.
I thought Roman sucked as a killer.
I don't really remember.
He was like her brother the whole time. Spoilers for Scream 3 that came out like 20 years ago.
20 years ago or something, yeah. I like that Jay and Silent Bob are in it, first of all, because they filmed those movies on the same lot. And they're both meta movies, so it kind of made sense.
Yeah.
No, and I like how they
revisit, like, they go to her original house, but it's like a set.
Yeah. They make fun of like how trilogies
yeah.
Third movie in a trilogy has to connect to the first one in all sorts of ways. Show you why it's different, yada yada. And this movie that we expected to kind of like forget about X-Men Origins and how it's like kind of not canon anymore, as we had said last time. It's like they're still going back to that and making it better.
Yeah. I mean, you can retroactively make almost anything better.
Oh, yeah.
You can also retroactively ruin stuff. So I'm glad they didn't do that here.
But no, I mean, we're talking about
actually,
there's the farm. Obviously, there's a farm scene.
Right.
There's some other there's
the whole notion that like Logan can never find peace no matter what.
Yeah. People are always going to get hurt. Again, this is the end of his. I said it back then. That was the beginning of his life. This is the end.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah. What else? There was something else that's very similar. Oh, Chris Bradley gets a shout out.
I think that's just an Easter egg.
Well, it's an Easter egg to that specific movie,
Right.
instead of any other movie.
I'm glad they didn't try to throw any Deadpool shit in here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, true.
It would have fucked up the tone, I think.
I really like this scene where, again, Charles is more lucid as the movie goes on,
Mm-hmm.
and he's kind of back to his optimistic professor self,
Yeah.
where he's still trying to teach Logan a lesson here. He's like, just because Eden may or may not exist doesn't mean that there's not value in taking the journey, because we're getting this girl to safety and we're going to protect her and we're going to give her a proper upbringing, which you did not have,
Not at all.
in so many words,
Yeah.
But also, he teaches Logan a lesson here. He's like, hey, Logan's like, you know what? We got to keep moving. Somebody will come along. And he goes,
Somebody has come along.
Yeah, that's us.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Because that's what the X-Men were all about.
Yeah.
Unless you fucking forgot.
Yeah, he still wants him to be a hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really like that.
Mm-hmm. No, I love seeing that old Charles like shining through
Mhm.
despite everything.
Despite his age.
Yeah.
Oh my God. There's some really funny dialogue in this too. We haven't mentioned, but there's a scene. It's like in an action scene. And Donald is like, oh, it's the NSA's for FBI's most wanted octogenarian, which is like someone who's above 80.
Mm-hmm.
And Charles is like, I'm actually a nonagerian, as in like he's 90. And it was just like such a like, I don't know, I just thought it was like a funny little
Just
bit.
them like Charles being like, well, actually.
Yeah. It's being a smart ass, right? At the farm, the family treat them to a home cooked meal and share their struggles with a mega corporation that has been strong arming them. Charles and Logan strong arming them to sell their farm. Charles and Logan start fabricating their backgrounds and begin to enjoy taking light jabs at each other.
This was nice.
It was so nice. It's such a great scene.
Yeah.
Laura and the rest of them laugh. In private, Charles insists that Eden is real to Laura and they should continue their journey. The family insists they stay the night, but the water has been shut off. Logan helps the father fix a pump station that has been sabotaged to scare them into selling their farm. There, Logan learns that the genetically altered corn they farm is turned into sweeteners for their food and drinks. At the pump station, a gang of redneck enforcers arrive to threaten the farmer, but Logan punches one and breaks his rifle.
And we never learned exactly what was genetically altered about the corn, but it can be inferred that it was something to like kind of wipe out the X gene, right?
Yeah, I mean he says so much later.
Logan does?
No, the
Oh,
doctor.
the doctor.
Doctor or something.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
He says it like right before he gets killed, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
which is like my favorite thing in this movie.
Because he doesn't
So
even get to finish his
that
sentence.
we'll get to.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, this scene is quite beautiful. Them around the dinner table, and it's such a kind of a, everybody's fucking miserable in this movie, and you get a scene
And
where
we get like one little
they're
moment of like,
finally happy, and it's the only other scene where Logan's smiling.
yeah,
Because not only are they taking jabs at each other, like they're kind of remembering.
they're reminiscing.
They're reminiscing on when they were a family.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, Logan was like one of my worst students,
And he's
like,
laughing.
oh, you're right.
Yeah. And like they're just having a good time. They're being a family again,
Mm-hmm.
and I like that Laura is like looking back and forth and smiling. She's like, "Oh, this is what it's like to be a family.
Nice,
yeah, it's nice." So, so good.
It's too bad it ends in tragedy.
Oh yeah, dude, don't ever. I mean, Logan was right. Like, we can't just hang out here. Like, we're gonna get people killed. Back at the farmhouse, Logan arrives to see Charles, and Charles tells him tonight was the best night he's had in a very long time, but that he doesn't deserve it because of the people he's harmed. Instead of reconciling their past, they ran away from it, which has allowed Charles to finally understand Logan. As he admits this to him, the man he thought was Logan quietly stabs him in the chest, who is revealed to be a younger, mindless clone of Logan, X-24.
I hated this because it's like
So tragic.
in the face of somebody that like you love and trust. Yeah.
Yeah. So part of me was surprised that like Charles couldn't tell that wasn't him because of like his aura or whatever.
Right.
You know, like this is
But like it.
because he's psychic.
But technically, it is him.
Okay, but he's not the same consciousness. Is my
No,
point.
no, the consciousness
So-
will be different, I guess.
Professor X would not need to use his eyes to know that that's not him.
But also, I think it was just like
He's old.
he's
old.
old.
Vulnerable.
And also, he's just like, oh, it's Logan's back.
Yeah, and he's being vulnerable.
He
He's
had no reason to think there'd
Yeah.
be an evil clone of him. Yeah,
right. And he's not. My point is, he's not being defensive.
right.
He's not looking for something
No.
right now, and he's being vulnerable, and he's remembering. Well, he doesn't quite remember, but he knows because
Yeah.
he remembers Oklahoma City. It just happened. He's like the day
Right, but then
prior.
he's just like he's starting to like. I don't think he ever actually knew what he did in Westchester.
He knows he did something.
Right, but I think like
Yeah.
maybe hearing because doesn't he mention like he heard it on the radio, like them mention it, and
maybe
that kind
or
of like
something that,
jogged
yeah.
something, or yeah.
So he killed the X-Men, is what happened.
And it was probably because he had a stroke
or a seizure.
or a seizure, not stroke.
Yeah. And Logan's like probably the only survivor. And that's how they got into the situation.
Ah, that sucks,
It's
man.
fucking dark. It's so sad. I kind of love it.
No,
but-
like it's good story stuff, and it's way better than Mysterio tricking Logan into killing everybody.
Oh yeah, fuck that. That's
oh, my
stupid.
special effects got you.
Yeah. No, that's
Like
dumb.
fucking Mysterio, really? Like I like him, but like
Like
damn.
he got the better of you. Like, come on.
You didn't smell that wasn't.
Yeah. Well, Berto, he wasn't looking for smell to someone that's not there.
Sure,
Okay. Anyway,
sure.
I do really like the scene where he says that that's the best night he's had in a long time.
And it was just them having
It's
dinner
so
and
cute.
joking around a little bit.
Laura wakes up and attacks X-24, frantically stabbing him as much as she can. The farmer's teenage son comes to fight, but is immediately killed, as is the wife.
I like how they tried to defend her though.
Yeah. And, like, it's gruesome to see. Like, I don't like seeing dead kids or whatever.
No.
It's just that, like, it's like this movie, like, taken it to a very realistic level.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not like,
yeah, no, that family didn't stand a chance.
No, but then it's like you see, like, the real toll of death.
Mhm.
Because in a lot of movies, it's just like, I don't know, people die and you're like, lol. Like, that guy got his head chopped off. And it's like, are we stopping to think about the implications that, like,
As I've been getting
someone's
older, I
dead.
have been thinking about that.
You
I'm
know
like,
what I
their
mean?
life is over.
yeah, they have a family,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like, obviously, to play to the story, like,
Right.
in this situation, we see this very innocent family who has suffered so many hardships, and their teenage boy just gets slaughtered.
Yeah.
Like, that is rough.
Still in high school.
Yeah, I would. Ugh.
He had like a test tomorrow or something.
Yeah, take caution. Watch this film, I guess.
It's not for the faint of heart. And I don't mean that in like I'm a make fun of the intro of Spider-Man kind of way. Like it's
Oh, right. Yeah, I hadn't even.
this
thought
is
about that.
actually not for the faint of heart. Like this is some
Yeah.
heavy stuff.
Dr. Xander Rice, the lead Oh my god.
Transigen.
See,
It's hard to say it.
It's hard because usually you put the emphasis on the trans.
Right.
Anyway,
But that's not the case here. Yeah.
the lead transigen researcher, Dr. Xander Rice, the lead transigen researcher, is controlling X-24. Logan, this feels very much like X-Men Origins, only done way better. Logan and the farmer arrive in shock to see himself taking Laura away. He grabs Charles, who is still alive, and assures him that wasn't him.
Oh.
I know, so sad.
And he sees all the bodies on his way up too.
Yeah, oh my god. Charles musters enough strength to say, "Our boat, the Sunseeker," as his final words, and dies in Logan's arms.
Oh.
Simultaneously, the angry rednecks return with a posse to seek revenge on the farmer and Logan for embarrassing them earlier, but mistake X-24 for Logan.
Oh, okay, this was kind of like, all right, you guys deserve
Yeah,
this.
oh yeah, 100%. I was totally rooting for X-24. The mindless killing machine takes no issue in murdering all of them until Logan sets his sight on him. They stab each other repeatedly in the most gruesome fight any Wolverine's been a part of.
Oh, their heads rolling. There's like
my
it's
And they're getting stabbed so much, and it feels so visceral. Like you can, it's like you can feel the stabbing. When he gets stabbed in the armpit, I was like, ooh, that's so tender. As if that's like worse than being stabbed anywhere else.
Ow! Yeah.
But it's like, like your armpit skin, like, oh.
It's more sensitive than like the rest of your arm, for example. Yeah.
I cringed at it a little bit. X-24 drops Logan and is about to deliver a killing blow until the farmer runs his car into him and impales his body against a tractor and shoots him with a shotgun.
Repeatedly.
Yeah. He sees the real Logan and tries shooting him too, but is out of shells and falls down dead.
This was fucking sad too, because as far as he knows, like the person he brought in just fucked everything over for.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, he has a moment where he sort of gets it. He's like, oh, there's two of them. There's a good one and an evil one. And he thinks he kills the evil one. He turns to the good one. He's like, fuck you. I'm going to kill you too. Because this is your fault.
Yeah. And
But he can't. And he dies.
It's. What a way to go, man.
It's so sad.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Logan takes Laura and they make their escape. Also, Caliban detonated some grenades from his cell, killing himself but only hurting Donald.
He did some good damage though.
Did he? Donald seemed fine after this.
Donald is fine. I think some other people inside the thing.
Yeah, they're dead.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Hey, Cosmic Firefox. Thank you for resubscribing.
Hey, how's it going?
Look, I don't have to say these are great fights. These are great fights. We've already talked about the cinematography.
They're incredible fights.
It's all good. Choreography, it's fantastic.
Yep.
Logan and Laura bury Charles near a pond. Laura tries comforting him, but he runs off to the truck. When it won't start, Logan takes the shovel and starts beating the shit out of the truck until he passes out from his wounds and exhaustion. He wakes up in a clinic where the doctor insists on taking care of him. Laura got the attention of a nearby fisherman for help. Logan refuses any treatment, and Laura finally speaks up. She yells at him in Spanish that all he does is yell and insult her, so she's remained quiet. That's what was said. Whole scene's
that's
in
what she was
Spanish.
screaming at him.
It's not subtitled yet.
He's like, "Shut the fuck up!"
Yeah. She violently convinces Logan to drive her and her friends. She violently convinces Logan to drive her to her
she
friends.
like punching him in the face?
Yeah. In Eden, despite his belief that it doesn't exist. On the way there, Logan falls asleep several times, almost crashing the stolen Bronco in the North Dakota desert. Laura puts him to sleep and drives the car herself. Miraculously, they arrive to find a small cabin overlooking the Badlands, but Logan is again too weak and faints. So some of this feels so real, and that's Logan's grief after burying really the equivalent of his father.
Yeah. He's just done after this. Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, he's gone off the deep end, and like there's something like, to me, I really like when a line is written with the intention of not landing perfectly or not being finished, because there's a layer to that where it feels very real. Like sometimes we say things that are incomplete or are not perfectly polished.
Yeah.
And like when you're trying to write very real characters, I feel like you have to incorporate that. Like people naturally make mistakes or don't deliver their words all the way through, so like characters shouldn't deliver their lines perfectly. And like Logan is just trying to say like, hey, we buried him next to the water, and he likes that, and he can't get it out. Like he keeps on kind of like fumbling. He's like, yeah, there's water. That's it. Like he doesn't really make a point, but you understand him as the viewer.
Yeah.
That he's in like heavy despair. Like he's not thinking clearly. He's holding it all in because he's the fucking Wolverine, but he's fucking miserable.
Yeah. And it's good stuff. And I like how like the doctor is like legitimately seems like a good dude.
He's also like fascinated by a mutant.
Yeah, but he also wants to help him.
He wants to help, obviously. It's his duty.
Yeah. Like
Logan is fucked.
He's like, listen, you're sick. Like it's like you need to go to a hospital. He's like, nah, I can't do that.
And then he has a very irrational but like also like rational, like very expected like reaction to his car not starting.
Oh, when he starts beating the shit out of it. That felt real too, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Like that's just like a man like enraged and at the end of his rope.
He just fucking lost it. He just the car was the last straw. He held it together during the funeral, but now he's like losing it, and like that is so real.
Yeah.
And it almost felt good. There's again, I'm bringing it back. There's a catharsis to like just even watching him take out his frustrations on this piece of shit truck he bought.
Yeah, like he just bought that too, man. Like,
oh my god! But you're also like it's zoomed out. You're seeing it from Laura's perspective.
And she's just watching.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. Fuck, man. Talking about this movie makes me like it even more.
Yeah, of course. Logan wakes up to the X-23 children tending his wounds with transigen chemicals, which helps him heal. Later, he wakes up to a nightmare and has to explain to Laura why he carries an adamantium bullet with him. He acquired it years ago and keeps it as a reminder of what he is, but lately, he has considered shooting himself with it. Laura offers some innocent solace. Solace is the word, right?
Solace, yeah.
Yeah. Laura offers him some innocent solace, and he sleeps for 2 days straight until he's awoken by the children, trimming his beard to the iconic Wolverine look. The children plan to leave the cross. What? The children plan to leave to cross. The children plan to cross the Canadian border on foot, to the mutant safe haven, which turns out to be real. That night, Logan observes the new generation of mutants, and Laura is upset he won't be joining them. Logan doesn't plan on staying around and assuming the fatherhood he didn't ask for. The children leave him the next morning, but Logan sees drones scouting their path. So this is another little connective tissue to the first movie, adamantium bullet.
Yeah.
Which, again,
it's probably not the same one he got shot with.
No, it's probably one he just acquired while he was there, I guess.
But there's no guarantee that bullet would kill him.
Well, again, in that movie, the first time they said this bullet will kill him. The second time,
like, it'll wipe his memory.
It'll wipe his memory. Then he gets shot point blank. It wipes his memory. But in this movie, it's like, hey.
In this movie, it kills.
Well, yeah, because it kills X-24.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he doesn't know if.
So what is it?
Yeah. Well, again, that first movie's not canon. Those events happen.
We're just
but
referring to.
Yeah. Like those events happen, but not like this, basically.
Unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
It was Deadpool telling the story.
Actually, that checks out.
He was there. Kind of.
I really like that he is what's the word? I like the fact that he's like violently confronted with the fact that he's a father now.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like he has the evidence. He knows it's his DNA, that she is his biological daughter. And he's like, I didn't ask for this. And it's a very real experience for, fathers that like didn't know they were fathers or didn't want to be. And like, the children who have dealt with parents who didn't want them and made that abundantly clear. And like, this shit's real.
Yeah.
And they're starting to kind of like each other, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
it's like begrudgingly.
Yeah. And like, Laura clearly wants him to stick around and be a dad that she's never had. She's never had like a real parent except for the nurse
who died.
You know, and he's like, fuck that. He's like, where are you going? Oh, a bar if I can find one. Like,
just drink myself to death there, I guess.
Yeah. Classic Wolverine move. I'm tired. Started too late. In the woods, the X-23 children are being chased by the doctor. What?
By the doctors?
Yeah.
I guess that works, but it sounds weird.
No, because there's just one guy. Chased by Dr. Xander Rice, Donald Pierce, and the Reavers. That's what they're called, by the way.
Like the little soldiers with like the
bionic
yeah
parts. Yeah.
which Donald is one of.
Right.
Yeah.
The children try their best to fight, and Logan catches up to them after taking all the medicine. He slashes his way through the soldiers in classic Wolverine fashion and eventually fights alongside Laura. Donald and Dr. Rice hold the children hostage while Dr. Rice introduces himself as the son of one of the scientists who created Wolverine. He goes on to explain that he is responsible for wiping out all the mutants. They've been introducing specialized chemicals into the corn syrup filled food and drink and controlling the mutant population that way. But halfway through the doctor's evil plan speech, Logan pulls out a hidden gun and shoots him through the throat.
Yeah, he wasn't messing around.
I fucking love that so much because, one, it's a surprise. It's
Yeah.
breaking all the formulas.
It's also in character for him.
Of course.
He's
But
like,
it's-
I'm over this shit. Like,
But it's also it's like a fun like parody of like superhero movies
like, now I'm gonna tell you
or like Bond movies.
everything I did in my master plan.
Yeah, and he's just like, I don't have to listen to this. Like, he just shoots him.
You're
Fuck
the
you.
bad guy.
Yeah, it's very like Indiana Jones when the guy pulls out the swords and he's like, shoot you.
He does all like the flourishes and
Yeah.
stuff. He's just like,
And just holsters his gun and moves along. I love that scene so fucking much because it's also like it reminded me of the last movie where it's like, oh, we have to do a generic comic book thing. We have to have a giant monster, a silver samurai,
yeah,
and a sexy villain who doesn't really need to be in the movie, but that's what the studio wants or whatever. And
Right.
it's like this movie's like, nah, fuck that.
maybe Donald's the sexy villain in this movie.
Yeah, he's kind of sexy. He's got a great accent.
It's a pretty cool accent.
Yeah.
His robot arm's cool.
Yeah, this movie doesn't even have like a hot chick in it. What's
No.
that about? Every movie has a hot chick in it.
Interesting. This movie's
what-
breaking molds.
That's what I'm saying. Like they're just like, no, fuck all that shit. We're gonna do what we want. Like,
We're just gonna tell a good story.
yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
tell a good story about an old man. Like, yeah, you told me earlier we were having dinner and you're like, it's not really like that much of an action movie. And it's like there's some really good action in this movie, but I'd agree
It's
that
not
like
the focus.
no, not at all. This is a movie about an old man reconciling his life, his mistakes, and his responsibilities
and he
as
just
a
gets
father.
caught up in some action that he doesn't want to be a part of.
But that just serves as a catalyst for him to feel his feelings, right? And for him to like reconcile the fact that he's a father and he has responsibilities.
Yeah.
And that what does he want to do? Like he finally realizes his purpose is to leave his daughter in a better position than he is in, because they're both monsters. They're created to be monsters, right?
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's good stuff.
Anyway. Oh, and also he does the jump. Did you see him do the jump? Yeah. There was a great. I remember this movie was coming out, and if I can find it, I'll post it below. So it'll link below. Of Hugh Jackman doing ADR for this movie, and it was this scene where he's running through the trees or whatever.
Okay.
It was like a behind the scenes thing, and you can see how it works. He's basically like in a room. And he's got a projector in front of him with
Is
a
he like
big
reenacting
TV.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he sees what he's doing, and he's just with a mic with like a studio microphone like ours, and he's just like, hoi 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 hoi, like that. And it's so ridiculous, but then like you see the finished product, and you're like, oh, that's
It's
really
like, and
good.
it works really well. Yeah.
It's really really good.
No,
You're like,
making movies is silly.
it's so dumb, and it like, but when it works, it works.
Yeah.
It's almost like unbelievable that it all comes together.
Yeah. I've been seeing a lot of behind the scenes stuff lately of like a video game that I love that came out recently, Alan Wake 2. It's like one of the best games I played in a very long time. It's a horror game. And it's like behind the scenes stuff. A lot of it's motion capture. And it's like these stuff that's like super awesome in the game. Like you see people just doing it in like silly little mocap suits and stuff. And you're just like, oh my God. They're like in onesies, just like acting
in
serious.
pajamas.
Yeah.
The fighting resumes, and X-24 returns to fight Logan, but Logan uses his superior experience and pins him down temporarily. Laura takes him down and stabs him repeatedly, and the X-23 children take revenge on Donald, each using their powers to group murder him. The boy who's Avalanche's offspring, let's just say him, I don't know if he has a name.
I think they say his name. No,
Yeah,
he's not like the leader, right? No.
I think he was the leader.
They say
he
his
was the older kid.
They say his name, then I just
I
can't
don't
remember what it was.
Anyway, he uses his shockwaves to throw a Humvee onto X-24, but it only slows him down. X-24 picks up Logan and impales him through the root of a fallen tree. Just seconds before Laura shoots his head off with the adamantium bullet she took earlier. She tries to help Logan, but he's dying and tells them to run. She doesn't have to fight anymore or be what they made her. She calls him Daddy, and he dies realizing what true love really is.
He died with his heart in his hand.
Yeah, that's what you were alluding to last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's like holding her or whatever.
Yeah,
that could be it too. I mean, again, like there's enough connective tissue where maybe like
it works.
He's retroactively trying to connect these movies together.
Yeah, and I think it does work.
And this is the best use of the adamantium bullet. And he's fixing all this stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But it's it's definitely full closure for Wolverine. That like he spent, and that's one of my favorite things about this character is that it's so tragic. That like he was raised to be a killing machine with no humanity, but like humanity prevails, right? Like he has humanity, but now he has to live with the guilt with all the horrible things he's responsible for.
That he constantly ends up doing too, because he's like forced into it.
It gets worse.
Yeah.
The more he tries, the worse it gets.
Mm-hmm.
More people he meets, the more they're harmed. The more deaths are on his hands. The more he can't sleep at night because when he sleeps, he has nightmares. He's growling in his sleep. His claws come out. We've seen it in so many movies. Like, he's a tortured character.
And it works so well. It really does. And as much as I like to give, like, the Fox movies shit for making Wolverine the main character of the X-Men.
I mean, he's, like, the most interesting character.
It worked out.
Yeah.
it did work out. I'm sure you can make Scott Summers interesting, too, if you wanted to.
You probably could, yeah.
Instead of just making him a bitch that gets evaporated by Jean.
Gets cucked.
And became, I don't know, somebody in Superman Returns.
Yeah.
Who the hell did he play?
Oh, that's right.
He wasn't Jimmy Olsen, was he?
No, he was Lois Lane's boyfriend or husband.
Oh, so he wasn't even an important character.
Well, I mean, he was like the third wheel again. He was another cuck.
Man.
God.
At least he's got Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah. So anyway, back to the sad thing.
Yeah.
But in this moment, he gets to actually like find purpose and meaning in his life, which is what Charles has been telling him this entire time. Is like, just because you have a horrible life doesn't mean that you can't improve the situation around you. And in this very specific case, you can improve Laura's situation because she's in the same exact situation as you are.
He might have actually saved mutant kind.
Quite possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah. So I like that. He kind of closes it off by telling her, like, she doesn't have to do that. She doesn't have to, like, fight. She doesn't have to be the monster they want her to be by fighting back. And there he is. He dies.
Mm-hmm.
The X-23 children help Laura bury Logan, and she repeats the lines she learned from the movie Shane earlier with Charles Xavier. Before leaving the grave in the woods, she picks up the stick cross and turns it into an X. And that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Then we get the song.
Yeah, not the one.
Not Hurt.
Yeah,
I forgot what song plays.
I love so much that this movie just ends right here. There's no like last few lingering scenes. There's no stinger or anything like that. It's like this is the end of the movie. Like just make it
it's over. The story's done.
I love when a movie has the balls to end, 5 minutes before you expect it to end.
I like it when it works.
Yeah.
There's some movies where you're like, what the fuck? It's over? Like, what?
But if you're I like being surprised. And if you're surprised and the movie has closure.
Right.
But you're expecting like 10 more scenes of bullshit. Then like, I don't know. That's good.
No, I like this, but I also like long endings, though. So it's like imagine if Return of the King ended right after they destroyed the ring, and that was it.
Okay, but there's so much more implication to that. Like, there's so many characters that they get back. What happens when they get back? Where do their lives go now? What happens to Gondor? Like, there's so many questions that need answering.
Right.
No. Whereas in this, it's like, what more closure do you want?
No, and that's true. This has the closure.
Yeah.
For this movie, it works. I'm saying there are movies that do this though, and I don't think it works. Latest example, I don't think you've seen this movie, the Challengers, that tennis movie. It kind of ends abruptly,
Oh, does it?
and you're like, what the fuck?
Oh. Oh, I quite like this. I think this was done very well.
Yeah.
This ending is really good. Let's go ahead and move on to analysis.
All right.
Story.
It's incredible.
Yeah, man. Look, this is a really good movie. Obviously, we talked about it. I don't know what I could add to this. Like, it's such a poignant, like, look into this man's life, like I just said, and gaining and learning purpose and forgiving himself and learning to love and assuming the responsibilities of fatherhood. Like, this is an incredible movie. It's an incredible story. It doesn't follow any of the comic book tropes, the action movie tropes. It actually laughs at those tropes.
It's very
makes
like
fun
out
of them.
there as far as like not as, because there are comic book movies that are like this, but superhero movies are generally not. Like a comic book movie based on like a dramatic comic book, like that's gonna
like Road to Perdition or something.
yeah. But like as far as like superhero, like this isn't what you expect from a Marvel movie.
It's not what I expect from a Fox Marvel movie.
Especially a Fox Marvel movie.
Honestly.
Which they're pretty hit or miss.
But like I keep saying, like, make the fucking Ben Reilly movie with
Andrew
Garfield. It's like, do something like this, like a one-off. It doesn't have to fit the formula. Just like a road movie with themes and good characters and like, yeah, there's action, but like that's not the focus. Like,
yeah,
do this.
No, something like that.
We
could
need
work
more of
really
these.
well. Yeah, and this movie is just beautiful in so many ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like story-wise and like cinematography.
Well, yeah, let's go. Yeah, cinematography is gorgeous. And I thought it was wild that this is also a James Mangold film. He did the Wolverine, like we said, picked up from Aronofsky, and like these movies look wildly different, but it kind of just gives you a look at like what his range is. Is like, yeah, this movie looks different because it's a Western. Like that other movie was literally from a different part of the world. And
yeah, true.
It's colored differently. It's shot differently. Like it's made to look like a samurai movie, where this is made to look like a Western.
Yeah,
like
it's hard to believe they're in the same series.
Yeah, but I mean, like they're obviously like there's plenty of homage to this. Like the movie Shane is just straight up in this movie,
one of the super famous westerns.
Yeah, and then it's like quoted afterwards where she's like, yeah, like
at the end too.
Yeah, like she has this moment where she realizes like Logan is his character, and this is the words that she knew about that character in the only movie she's ever seen, probably.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. Do you have anything else on that before we move on?
I'm ready to go.
The actors are honestly, and like Hugh Jackman does incredible.
He puts his all into this one,
and he's been wanting to forever. He's been wanting a really character-driven one. He's been saying it forever, and so like it's
what he was hoping X-Men Origins was going to be.
Yeah. And it's really nice that like, and I mean Wolverine was good too, but like,
right?
It's nice that like he got this movie. He got to do it. He got to show off his chops.
Yeah.
Because it's rare that like, you've got actors like these that like they have their breakout role, but it's not their serious role, and it's not the role that they want to be remembered for.
I think he's totally fine being remembered as Wolverine.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. He combined those two things. He combined like the one that made him famous because he was a nobody before.
He just did some theater, right?
He did some theater and some small stuff in like soap operas and stuff like that. Okay. Well, we're gonna talk about him in Keeper Camp, so.
Okay.
But X-Men put him on the map. Yeah. It's because that other guy dropped out too. That other fucking Australian guy who was in.
I don't even remember who.
Well, he wanted to.
I think we talked about him in our episode.
Doug Scott or something like that.
Okay.
Dude was in. He dropped to be in fucking Mission Impossible 2, the worst Mission Impossible.
Was that the J.J. Abrams one?
No, that's 3, and that one's good.
Oh, okay.
It's the John Woo one.
Oh, that's right. And it's like you'd think it would have been a good action movie.
It's really not. It's a bad movie.
Because John Woo makes some cool stuff.
Yeah, but he's very corny.
Yeah, that's true.
It doesn't fit with the rest of the Mission
Yeah,
Impossible
yeah,
movies. Anyway, the dude chose that over Wolverine. Like it's wild when like
But there was also a time when comic book movies
oh
weren't
no sure X-Men was
popular.
X-Men was the first good one. Let's not forget.
It was either X-Men or Blade.
Fuck Blade. X-Men was
People
like
love Blade.
I know, but like this was the first good one. Like this set the stage. People like to quote Spider-Man. No, it was this. This started the modern era.
Spider-Man came like shortly after, but
A few years after.
Yeah.
But this kicked off the modern era, and also Spider-Man's more cornier than this is.
Spider-Man's a lot more corny.
This fits into like the modern era and in a way that Spider-Man doesn't.
As much as we hate Bryan Singer, he did something good with that.
He's pretty good.
He cooked.
He's a really good piece of shit, is what I'm saying. He's a good filmmaker. He's a piece of shit. We talked to him. We canceled him.
He fucking sucks.
Yeah,
but he made some good shit.
he made some good movies.
Yeah. But not Superman Returns.
We're talking about actors. Anyway, Hugh Jackman literally just is combining those two aspects. He's like the character that made me famous with that movie that everybody wants, a really character-driven actor's role, meaty role, and he got to do it, and he's fantastic. He's a great actor.
Yeah,
and he's a great character. He's a wholesome human. We'll talk about him. Very well deserved. Patrick Stewart, obviously, one of the best of all time.
Legendary actor.
Just the fucking we already
sir.
We already capped him. Yes, Sir Patrick Stewart. Excuse me. We already capped him before when we did X-Men 2. It's just what a way to close off that character too. And then, we saw him one more time, but it doesn't count. It's a different version.
That was closer to like the animated version of him. Yeah.
But and who knows? We might see him one more time for all we know.
Maybe we'll see.
But he was great, and like I said earlier, like he got to break away from his character and do his character with dementia.
Yeah,
and
it was something different for sure.
And die and like give us a beautiful death, beautiful closure.
It's only the first time we saw him die.
Yeah, the second time's not as fun, is it?
Second time was
horrible.
It was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I like that movie, but Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh yeah.
Jeez. Anyway,
poor Charles.
Patrick Stewart, great, and the main takeaway here, I think the standout is Daphne Keane.
Yeah, and this was her first role ever, right?
First role. And
I haven't seen her in anything else except for the Acolyte that we're currently watching, and I like her. I feel like I haven't seen enough of her in that to have an opinion.
It's a very straightforward role.
Yeah, she's a Padawan.
She's heavily made up.
Yeah,
like,
you can barely tell it's her.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not expecting huge things from her there, but in this movie for sure. And there's something to be said about coaching and choreography and stunt doubles and all that stuff. But it's like, like I said earlier, it came together so well that you can't see the seams, you can't tell where it breaks apart. It's
very well done.
It's stitched together so good. Her facial acting is amazing. Her physical acting is amazing. She doesn't speak until the end of the movie anyway.
Yeah.
And then when
she does a lot with not speaking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And when she does speak, she's bilingual. She's half English, half Spanish. Right. Yeah. I mean that like her dad is from England, her mom is from Spain.
In real life.
Yeah. Yeah. So it works out. That like she's a one in a million. How do you find another like 10-year-old who can do these things? You know what I mean?
Finding good child actors that young is difficult.
Yeah. So
because a lot of them aren't that great.
Yeah. And it was when she started speaking, and it's also because I speak Spanish and it's not subtitled or whatever. And I was like, oh wow, like she's really acting. Like there she goes. It's more than just like, hey, look angry and walk towards the camera. You know what I mean? Like she's really doing it.
And it's for stuff that like a lot of people probably didn't even understand.
Right? Yeah. I don't remember a lot of music in this until the end. There's a nice theme when he's getting buried.
I remember some like action score. It's not like it didn't stand out to me or anything.
Yeah. Again, let's just go back to the beginning. "Hurt" by Johnny Cash is basically the.
It's the theme song to
the theme song. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Costumes, there aren't any, and I love it because it's not the place for superhero costumes.
No,
right?
it's just like That being said, the costume department did a great job.
Oh yeah, like real costumes. I'm talking about
Like superhero costumes. Yeah,
costumes, yeah.
there aren't any here.
No, yeah. But it's like I like Wolverine when he's not wearing his superhero costume.
I like his superhero costume that we never get to see ever.
Yeah, but it's also like Wolverine. Like sometimes he just doesn't fucking wear it because he's like,
he's a rebel.
yeah, he doesn't give a shit.
It's like I don't want to be in
mean?
uniform.
Yeah, it's not important to him.
Everybody knows what I look like.
I like that he's in like a torn up suit for half of this movie.
Yeah,
and then
and like shirtless the rest.
Yeah. But I think that's all I got. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
As far as analysis, we went over a lot of it during the plot, which we tend to do.
Of course. So it's mostly
it's
recap.
hard not to.
Yeah. So yeah, let's move on. We're gonna do keep or cancel, and then we'll come back. I'm too tired, and I have to edit the other thing, so we can. This time we can actually do keep or cancel at a reasonable time, maybe like in a week. Wait, when do you go out of town?
In July.
Oh, all right, so we're fine.
We got time.
So like sometime next week, maybe we record something or play something, and we'll do keep or cancel. Cause I'm just losing it.
Okay. God, Garrett texted me. Call me when you get home so we can help move cars. Why do I have to move like 5 cars to go home?
How many cars are there to move? It's just Max's car?
If Tati's there.
Why can't Tati move the car?
So like Max's car, Garrett's car, Tati. That's 4 cars.
Yeah, but you're in your car.
Yeah, I would be the 4th car.
So why do you have to move any cars?
I don't know. There's a lot of times I'll get home and there's nowhere for me to park them.
I fucking hate your neighborhood so much. Everyone takes up the whole street. No one parks in their driveways and their garages. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I would hate living there. Anyway, into the Phantom Zone. Berto. Logan.
This is not going to the Phantom Zone.
No.
Not one bit.
And it's like, more people watch this one than Wolverine.
Yeah.
But also like,
this is the popular one.
Yeah. Watch it again. Because this is a good film.
I think there's also a lot of people that may not have watched this one, though.
You think? There's, you know what though?
A lot of the younger people.
I was about to say there was a lot of people that were too young at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't see it in theaters. Watch it now. If you're 16, 17, you're older. Like watch it now. You didn't get to watch it when you were like 10 or whatever.
Yeah. No, this is one worth checking out, especially if you've already invested in the rest of those movies anyway.
Yeah.
Even if you haven't, like this is one that's
it's so fucking good.
It's worth watching even the bad ones to get to this one.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, it creates a sense of closure for all these characters you didn't know you needed, really.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not all. It's 2 characters, but like it's just so fucking good.
But it is kind of a closure to that whole series, though.
Yeah.
Now, the rest of the X-Men are kind of like they're just not there anymore. It's a little bit unceremonious, but it's a Wolverine movie, so
right. Thieves, essentially the Wolverine.
Apparently, the movie was originally gonna start with the X-Men being killed, but then he decided not to do that because like he James Mangold was like, it's a Wolverine movie.
Yeah,
like,
it's too much.
Yeah, it's better to keep it kind of like
it's implied.
It's implied. It's alluded to a little bit, but you don't know exactly.
It's
what
better
happened.
that way. Like imply some stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Like that just creates.
We're all grown ups here.
Yeah, and it creates richness.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like he turns the radio off. You have to be listening in order to like catch all that stuff.
Yeah,
and I love that.
And you got to know what the fuck they mean when they say Westchester. Some people will be like, huh?
Yeah. Like I don't want to be spoon fed.
Like, well, that's where his school was.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Just fucking like, just show don't tell. This movie is incredible. This may be one of the better movies, one of the best movies we've reviewed.
Yeah, it's up there.
I don't remember what was the last one we said was the best one. I had to go through the list.
We'll have to go through the list because I'm sure we've covered a couple at least.
Yeah, I remember there was like 2 that we were like, which
we were like, this movie's actually really good.
I think this might edge it. Whatever that last one was, I don't even remember. But this is an incredible film. I have no notes. I think like, it did exactly what it intended to do, and I probably wouldn't have done it any different. It is sad, but I mean that's just what it is. Like I like sad movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, it's good to feel stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, feel a little bit.
Even sadness is good to feel sometimes.
And but it's realistic. You know, it's not just about superheroes. It's barely about superheroes, actually. It's mostly about a guy at the end of the rope, you know, and he's fucking dealing with his life, and
it's like the third act of a tragedy.
Yeah, and he's finding his purpose, and you know, and he finally gets to do all that. He dies, and that's just it. It's good. I would recommend also watching Children of Men, because this movie clearly takes a lot of inspiration from that. It's basically a superhero remake of Children of Men in a way. And I love that film. It explores very similar themes in a very similar way. And if you like this, you might really like Children of Men. So that's my little recommendation at the end.
Okay.
Do you have any recommendations? Is that something you want to do? If you like this movie, check out this.
Yeah, but I'd have to think of a movie.
Okay, well.
I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, true. Let's move on. Berto, what movie are we watching next time?
We're going to go a little more lighthearted, but still kind of dark with Deadpool.
Deadpool, yeah. No, it's going to be super lighthearted. What do you mean?
I mean, there's that whole cancer storyline.
Yeah, it's barely in the movie, though. Like, he's fine. The next one's
being experimented on.
That's fine.
Let's say there's dark stuff in it, but overall, it's a much more lighthearted movie.
Yep. That's on Disney Plus. That's also, isn't it? That's funny.
I believe it is.
Yeah. And so it counts because I think half counts. We're calling it. We're rounding up.
It's
because
it's in this canceled Fox universe.
It's in this defunct universe, but it's also carrying over in a way we don't fully understand yet. So
that we will find out on July 25th.
It's good enough for me, is all I'm saying.
It counts.
Anyway, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thanks to that piano dude for our musical intro. Make sure you leave a rating or review on Apple or Spotify or wherever you get these podcasts. Please, please, please tell a friend about the show, and if you like it, and thank you if you've told a friend about the show. You can support the show on Patreon, where you get news segments, news from the Phantom Zone, where that's how we warm up for the show. We talk about current events and movies. And it's a video segment. If you're interested in that, check out our Patreon. Berto, we also do our second podcast. What's that all about?
Our second podcast is Where's Mephisto, where we search for Mephisto in usually currently streaming television shows. So stuff that we want to watch, basically, but won't fall into films from the Phantom Zone.
Yeah, it's
territory.
a TV show.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a loose framework. Let's put it that way. Where are we looking for Mephisto lately?
We have just finished looking for Mephisto in... I can't remember the last thing we did.
We did Miscellaneous.
Oh, so we're just in our lives.
Yeah.
But currently we're looking for Mephisto in The Acolyte.
Yes.
Which is currently streaming on Disney+.
Yeah. So we'll talk about The Acolyte. We'll get into all the juicy gossip and discourse that's getting...
there's a lot of discourse to talk about.
But that's also only on our only on our Patreon. Sometimes previewed on here. If you want to catch a little preview, you can scroll down somewhere, and
we've got a couple.
You got a couple up there you can check out if you like it, and check us out on Patreon. You can also hang out with us on our Discord server. That one is free, and it's there all the time, 7 days a week. We're always chatting with our good friends, some of which were here today on Twitch, because we stream all these episodes live on twitch.tv/filmsfrompz. Hang out with us like Cosmic Firefox, Philly to the J, and Blake's Takes today. And we have t-shirts, like I mentioned earlier. That's linked below. It's a Spreadshirt website.
And apparently the most comfortable shirt you've ever worn in your life.
Yes, actually. And how's your shirt going?
It's pretty good.
It's good, right?
Yeah.
You washed it a few times yet?
Yeah, it's comfy.
It's comfy, right?
It's very comfy.
Yeah, I'm still wearing it. This is the original.
The one that doesn't even have anything on it
anymore?
anymore?
Yeah, the screen printing fell out.
Wow.
Look, no guarantees that the screen printing is going to stay, but the shirt itself...
That's with any screen printing, though.
Yeah, the shirt itself is so fucking comfortable. The only reason I opened the shop, I mentioned this before, is because I wanted a shirt for myself, and it was just one more button to open a shop. So I'm like, okay,
Might as well.
Might as well.
We'll eventually have some more designs on there.
Yeah, that's coming up. You can find us on Instagram at Films from the Phantom Zone, Twitter, Films from PZ, TikTok, Films from PZ. And other than that, we'll see you guys next time on another episode of Films from the Phantom Zone with Deadpool. And goodbye.
Bye.
I am so tired.
I'm like moderately tired.
I woke up. My sleep is just like all over the place. Let's save file.
I just need to like
I can't see.
work less.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, that's the thing. You know, you guys are. If anyone's here on the stream and it's like, hey, like, why do you guys like do this more often? We both work like 50 hours.
It's rough.
And like we have commutes. Like your commute. It's not.
My commute's
horrible.
terrible in the morning.
It's bad when there's traffic. I'm sure.
If there's traffic, it could take easily an hour to get to work.
Oh yeah, it takes me about 50 minutes to an hour.
If there's no traffic, about 25 to 30 minutes. But yeah, with traffic, it's horrible.
So it's just like that takes up literally half my day, and then it's like the other half I just like want to
die.
Yeah, I mean, and by half, it takes up more. I mean, it takes up half of like the
sunlight,
the clock. No, like the full like that's 12 hours is what I'm saying.
Oh,
and I still need to
literally
sleep
takes up
there.
half of the 24 hours.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So it's like I have like
work all together is probably about 12 to 13 hours a day for me too.
So it's like then I need to sleep and I need to like do stuff
and have a life,
and cook and shit and
it's just tough. It's gotten tougher as we've gone on.
Lately it's been hard, but I am it'll be a transition for me because pretty soon I'll be working more remote. I'll be working more regular office hours.
Okay, so it'll get better for you. It might get worse for me. We'll see.
When I move, we'll be closer to the site, to the office, so it's like that'll also be nice. There's a lot going on. So I bought a car. That took up so much of my fucking free time, is all the car research and fucking insurance research, all that shit. That was a pain in the fucking ass. But now that it's over, I feel a giant weight. It's been lifted.
You can
off.
live a little bit more life.
Yeah,
you can live Moss.
I can live Moss. Taco Bell. I can do this shit. I can do more podcast shit like we're supposed to be doing. Yeah, hold on, let me look at something.
You're good.
I watched the DVD. Sorry, seeing if I got any views.
Hell?
Cause the algorithm just be.
Should we get off of our? Should we stop being live?
Yeah, we probably should. Yeah, we gotta go. So anyway, guys, all you guys that are here haven't said hi. That's fine. But
that's fine.
Say hi to you guys, and thank you guys for being a part of this.
Thank you for
part
watching.
of the show, and we'll see you next week. We're gonna finish up Keep or Cancel. Put